Hello, friends! Everyone, welcome to our season 4 of After the Fire. We are back, folks, and we are excited to be playing once again. We have moved the events along like 5 years. We have done a kind of session 0 for this season again. So things are going to look a little bit different. And we're going to have some new juicy fruits we're going to have some new fruits to juice, I guess, all along the way. Thank you all so much for stopping by, for subbing, for all of the little bits and pieces that you've been throwing at us as well. If you like, you can interact with the stream. You can throw us some bits. You can donate some bonus dice and some test dice to my lovely players here, all beautifully assembled. We've got a full cast today. It's lovely jubbly. So details below for all of that stuff. Yeah, we're going to go over and have a chat to everybody as per usual. First of all, bringing back our problematic fave, Simon. Jason is with us again. Hello, Jason. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastically. I have received some wonderful news that sent me scrambling today, so it's a wonderful time over here. At the current moment, however, I'm celebrating the fact that I have recently published my second game in collaboration with the wonderful, as ever, Kiana Shaw. Way Down Below, which is a solo journaling game descended from the Queen, about a wanderer who is making their way and making their mythos out of Hades on behalf of their beloved. If it sounds like Orpheus and Eurydice, it's because that's basically what you're doing. So if that sounds of any interest to you, please go ahead and check it out. It's over on their itch.io page. Believe there was a tweet about it a couple hours ago. Probably be retweeting it and seeing if I can't get the link in chat as well.
Sure.
But as it stands, I'm happy to be here playing Simon, as happy as one can be playing Simon. And I'm looking forward to, whatever you've got in store and whatever everybody else has on the table.
Yeah, beautiful. Congrats, friend, as well, about the publishing. Good job. And we have the illustrious Hot Flakes Tom with us, as per usual, with this new beautiful little man sat on his frame.
He's so beautiful. He's mechanically beautiful. So it's like you can't avoid it. It's great.
You can't.
It's great.
You can't.
Yeah. I'm actually a little friggin' depressed because I watched football before this and I shouldn't have. So I'm
did your team not do the scoring of the things?
Oh my god! It was the biggest piece of. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But
all right.
I need this to cheer me up, Sam. Okay. I need it to cheer me up.
Yeah,
that is the goal I'm setting for you.
Yeah, no promises, mate. No promises.
Balls.
All right. I can't wait to see more of Enzo. We caught a slither of him at the end of last season. So yeah,
I can't wait to play him. He's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Cool. Looking forward to it. And then, of course, aged gracefully, Susanna Grace is with us. Hello.
Hi, Sam. I mean, that's up there, right? In segues, I guess.
You've got you got a new portrait.
But yeah, Maria's got a whole new portrait. She's angry. She's a little sad. She's very definitely stabby looking. I'm here for it. Like, it's the energy I'm bringing. I've got my booze. So, wine may be thrown
today.
Who knows?
Whiskey we'll at the screen or...
we'll see if Maria has grown out of throwing wine. Probably not, but...
No. All right. Oh, and congrats on all the portraits too. They are looking amazing. Genuinely awesome. Super, super good stuff. Yeah, so I mean, we do just do plugs at the end, but if you like Susie's work, check out all the stuffs, all the Twitters and all that kind of stuff. And you'll probably do a couple more, not that this is setting you up to do them, but you'll probably do a couple more chill streams of drawing Mr. Samuel, who we're all waiting to see what he looks like next. And then Charlie is with us from Encounter Roleplay, taking out a brief time from prepping new seasons and prepping up there are some filler bits and pieces, aren't there? Like this week, are there going to be more next week?
Finale week. So we're wrapping up the shows, and last night we had a cult one shot. Tomorrow night we have a new game joining the channel, which is a community game that we've kind of adopted but should have been with us all along. It's called Wild and Chaotic. It's a wild mount game.
Nice.
They've tricked me into having D&D on the channel.
How dare
That's my takeaway from this. But tonight I get to come and play in, from one trash fire world to another. I get to play in Westeros tonight.
Trash fires all the way down.
At least some of the fires in this world are the ones that I started, so I'll take it.
We've also got we also need some answers eventually for the Blood Witch from the Wrestling AU, because there was a whole energy at some point, and she definitely needs a rematch as well, I reckon. Like
I 100% support having some more WWE Westeros 205 or whatever year it is we're in.
Yeah. It's not horse. It's not tilts. It's all wrestling. That's what it's going to be now. Tournaments. Awesome. And of course, going down to Tabletop Horde. Virginia is with us yet again. Hello, friend. So good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited to be back.
Good.
I think all of us have just had this like chaotic energy of wanting to talk about the show and all of the things that we've discussed and not being able to. So it's how I ended up with my little Mara fanfic piece that's up in the Discord.
Lush.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
But you've been playing all sorts of stuff. I've been catching your Fragging Fridays.
Yeah, me and Susie are doing Fragging Fridays now. We squad up, play some Rainbow Six Siege. People join us occasionally, but it's Susie winning games, me somehow killing people with potato aim.
I see you. You clutch occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally. I do better off stream. I went like 11-1 in a match the other day. I was like, why does this never happen when I'm filming?
It's always the way.
Witcher on Wednesdays as well. That's been really fun.
Playing that, of course, as well.
Yeah, it's just a lot of me talking to the horse. Just a lot of me talking to Roach and being annoyed with Roach running off every time I try to fight things.
Virginia, I think you're in the wrong Westerosi family. There's this other family that plays on Mondays on account of role plays. They are all about the horses. Let me introduce you to a man called Asta, maybe your new husband.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
Sorry.
I've seen the shenanigans there. Mara's already got herself involved with enough.
Yeah, mate, that
you know
is
what?
so true.
Sure, Mara and Asta are fucking perfect for each other. There you go.
I still want to fight. I still want to get in an argument with Allegra and just watch her ruin Mara. I need this to happen.
Maybe we need some crossover on the shows for the Wrestling AU, because that would be a matchup. That would be a card I would watch for sure.
Oh.
Devo. And speaking of a man I would watch, Jonathan Fry, newly in the state of Florida. Florida man is here with us today, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, sir? How is the new house?
I'm good. I am Florida man now. It's good. Yeah, we're like mostly moved in. It's still kind of piecemeal, still getting like the office set up and everything, but everything just feels a little more chill here, which was the purpose.
Good.
So I've been busy doing a lot of things, but I've been trying to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of time away from work to just kind of enjoy things.
With your overworking.
Yeah, but it's been good. It's been really good. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having everything here and unpacked and set up. But I'm really glad to be playing today. We've been talking about the 4th season now. It feels like for a really long time, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I was saying earlier to Susie when we were chatting on Discord, like it feels ages since we did the kind of cover stream last week for just playing Sea of Thieves. It felt like ages ago, and I'm like, wait, that was 7 days ago. But 2020. So I guess
2020.
Yeah, that's just it, right? Well, yeah, okay. Well, I am keeping busy as usual. Back at work. Not in the office with Modifius, working from home during the day, and then overnight I will come upstairs here, and then I will be editing for the Spy game. So we're still knocking that out. It's a long process, friends. Getting a book out there is a long ass time. I'm not gonna lie. So if you want to keep up with that kind of stuff, you can check out our Follow Black Cats on Twitter. You can check out Black Cats Gaming on the web as well. That's my usual plugs. And yeah, look out for us as well for any little like a smaller project or any other products we've got coming up later on once we've got this game in the bag as well. Oh, thank you, James, for the 500 bits. I guess you wanted me to have a test dice. That's what the 500 bits are. So sure. I think it is. Maybe I increased my prices.
Yes, I, the DM, will decide how this anonymous donation was.
I can't remember.
How dare you?
Well, then James needs to tell us in chat. All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Shit.
I'll apply it in a second, but I do have, as it is the beginning of a season, I do have a prologue. I know I was saying this season is going to be more improvisational. I'm going to be asking more ad hoc questions about what you guys want to do on stream. But I couldn't help myself, of course, so I have written a short prologue as well. So this is episode 1 of season 4, A Realm Gathers. The General. Bittersteel's camp was hot with the day, smoke from the lunchtime cook fire winding and circling up into the humid air, with soldiers wearing very little, casually walking down the line being handed a thick stew of fish or goat. As many of them sit around tents with polished weapons on racks and in barrels, squires and camp followers roll chainmail in barrels of sand along the dockyard. As the general strides forward, he doesn't care that no one is paying him any attention so long as the people under his command know their place when he cuts in line. 2 men speaking loudly in Tyroshi turn as he makes directly for the serving table. Kaljka! Bis, Ixis! Elva Dinagon! One shouts before looking the young lord in the face, and immediately shutting up, turning away, and spitting on the floor casually, avoiding his eye contact. The whole southern dock side of the Tyroshi mercantile quarter had been overrun for weeks with mercenaries under the pay of the Black Dragon. But the general didn't mind the looks from the fishers and the free sailors trading with the city, nor did he mind the occasional diktat to come down from the conclave, declaring their encampment illegal or an occupation. The mercenary guard of the city did very little, some wondering if they'd been paid off by Bittersteel or whether he commanded some strange respect for the soldiers that call Tyroshi their home. And anyway, their quarrel wasn't with the lords of Westeros, with an eye for home and a pretender to the Iron Throne leading their banner. The general's fish supper was interrupted, however, as he sat on the stone steps overlooking the harbour, and the great bleeding tower casting its long shadow in the setting sun. The man he had cut in front of, looking down at him from the top of the steps, with his bright blue goatee and shock of indigo hair framing 2 staring brown eyes. My lord, excuse my intrusion, but Lord Bittersteel commands your presence. He waited for a moment before replying. Commands? Yes, replied the Tyroshi man, visibly impatient. Seemed as if he was tasked with bringing the general to their leader. As soon as I've finished my food, the general replied, cautiously making a play. Lord Rivers was no pleasant man by all rumour and experience, but even so he had grown more impatient of late. No doubt the siege of the city in years past, and growing financial burden of letting soldiers sit idle while the conclave refused to commission them to fight for Tyroshi's claim of the disputed lands to the southeast. So the general took his time, finishing the last flakes of fish and sucking at the cheeks to get some of the richness from the last remaining flesh of the bone. Licking his lips and fingers, he proclaimed, "And now, to Lord Rivers." Inside the largest tent along the dockyard in an unlikely court is in session. Modelled after the courts of King's Landing, the sombre and intimidating presence of Bittersteel sits on a high-backed chair, with a rug to serve as a dais. Around him, the important people of a mercenary company, those that hold the purse strings, his new bannermen. Some of them self-exiled Westerosi lords and pretenders to their own little corner of the Seven Kingdoms, but others who were ex-slaves or career mercenaries out for a title and an elevated retirement. "My lord," came the condescending words from Lord River upon his carpet dais. "Your Grace," came the reply from his general. "I bring good news, finally." Not even a hint or crack of a smile passing Bittersteel's lips. "With news of this storm passing, and word from our eyes on Westeros, I am ordering our Brotherhood of Exiles and its fleet to sail to war for the glory of our king, Daemon II of his name." Taking the general by surprise, he asked, "I'll order muster and boarding at once, my lord, and we'll sail for Cape Wrath." It was a taunt, but a failed one. Bittersteel retorts, "We can't risk such unknowns as the allegiance of the Marcher lords, particularly when we have so much invested in our eyes on the Dornish coast. We sail for the Sea of Dawn and land in the Seventh Kingdom first." "But my lord, the largest base of Blackfyre loyalty lies in the Reach, and by all accounts Longthorn is weak in rulership. We should strike for Summerhall, win you your seat, and then campaign to Highgarden, as I've said many times." His anger burned like a fire within him, tired of being dismissed by the arrogance of Aegon Rivers. "We set sail in the morning. Enjoy your last night in Tyrosh." The two men shared a long stare as the assembled court sat about, weapons within reach, and eager for a fight after months squandered in this old Valyrian freehold. But no blood would be spilled that day, as the general turned to leave, bound for a realm he knew very little of, and a lust for home in the rolling plains and hills of the Reach. Myria. We find you, we're going to start this off at the front of a kind of procession, not a formal one, but this is the ride down the southern valley with the river to your western side, to your right. Riding along, all on horseback, yourself included, Lady Marcia to your rear, and to your left, Lord Ellery Peak, who has come to meet the procession halfway and is now, and you're all now making your way down towards Blackmont, but shortly to be arriving at a tourney grounds, being set up by Sir Henrik on the orders of the House Greenmont, for a tourney of the realm. It's been raining on and off all day, and it's now in particular that a cloud has decided to pour down upon you guys, and hoods are all up. The wool kind of protecting you a fair bit from the autumn breeze and the rain that it brings down the valley. How is Myria different now? How do we see her from the young girl that we once knew?
So obviously, beyond the fact that she's now taller, her hair is no longer kept short, it's longer, but it's not in a very sort of practiced curled as it would be, perhaps, as a lady of her age. You know, she hasn't got it all, and it's quite utilitarian. It's probably back in like a braid at the minute with the reins. She's dressed quite finely, obviously, being a lady, but it's more again, utilitarian clothing. So she's wearing decent riding gear, you know, she's got like riding equipment. You know, she's probably even not wearing like a dress, she's probably like riding trousers on for the journey.
Sure, yeah.
And she's definitely like, she sits very straight, very tall, very proud in the saddle. And she isn't, you know, when Lord Peak arrives, she gives him a smile, but she's not as carefree with her smiles as she was when she was younger. She's clearly got a much more serious sort of look to her face now.
Oh, you offer Ellery a smile. He gives you a polite smile back, and he's kind of more focused on the road. And there are outriders trying to just kind of scout ahead and stuff as you head further south into still his domain, his holdfast of Blackmont Keep, but this is de jure dawn. So, and as the two of you will well know, there have been raids and there have been raiders around these lands just south of Fox Hollow. So he is, and you can tell, keeping half an eye out on his outriders and the rest of the valley. And he opens the conversation after, the patter of the rain that kind of keeps you from speaking, but he comes pretty much straight out with how we should have had this tourney in the Reach, my lady.
Well, it wasn't my decision to have made, but I can't say I disagree with Lady Marcia's choice to place it here.
I had my own disagreements with Lady Marcia about it before, but
I can understand that, especially with the current climate. And Miri is also, she's keeping an eye out too, scanning around as they ride.
The other Marcher Lords may have been humiliated in their defeat at Brimstone, but honestly, if I know Reacher Lords now, that will just inflame their anger. I just worry this tourney there'll be some people out of the blood, particularly if Lady Marcia wishes this to be a tournament to bring people together, to bring Reacher
that was
Lords.
The hope that it would bring peace. But I can agree, there are probably going to be people arriving with bad intentions here. I suppose it falls to us to ensure that doesn't happen.
I'm tied up as a champion.
That is true. As the champion, you will set a good example.
Of course,
as my personal champion, I hope that you will do very well.
Of course, my lady. It's a different role. I'm to be challenged. I'm not a peacekeeper.
I understand that. I think for Lady Marcia, the goal of this was for everyone to arrive in good faith, to show that Dawn is part of the Seven Kingdoms, whether some like it or not, to try and mend those bridges.
I hope so. And he kind of moves his horse a little closer to yours to ride a bit closer together. And he asks, my lady, what do you really think of these lords that will come here? I don't worry about the Danes necessarily in the Sword in the Morning. I mean, they've had no real part in the battles of the last few years, but if the Ullers show their face, if the Corgyles come to joust, what then?
I'm not sure. I suppose we'll have to take it as it comes. But, well, you know as well as I do that my personal feelings about some families are not necessarily the most hospitable. But I will do my best to be a good hostess, not disappoint the Lady Marcia, try to keep the peace as best as possible. And she's definitely sort of like saying it in a way like, I'm definitely not, but I'm going to try a little bit, maybe not, definitely.
And if the Oakhearts arrive?
well, I think that's more of a matter of when the Oakhearts arrive. And if they bring her, I will greet her, but that is the end of that.
What a beautiful moment to, like, wipe over to Samwell Tarly. Samwell, you are riding along. I'll move my tokens out of the way for a bit of a view. You've ridden south from Hornhill with a small entourage in tow, heading kind of south by southwest along that valley, then deep into the Red Mountains. You've come to another river that actually joins the one that Fox Hollow has at its as its source. And where this join is, you've got to head north a bit, but that's where the tourney ground is going to be, and that's where you and Lady Mara and Maester Simon are all headed. Now heading north up this valley, not far from these tourney grounds, you folks have a bit of time now to kind of establish yourselves, and I guess if you want to figure out what your approach might be.
So Samwell is dressed in this intricate green robe that he keeps over top of his armor. Even though it's hot, he still goes through the entirety of dressing as though he might be introduced to royalty at any moment. And this green robe is embroidered with golden arrows all along the seams. Underneath, I think he keeps his robe just kind of open so you can see like flashes of the armor that he's wearing underneath this pristine plate mail armor. The mail itself is golden with green embroidered arrows throughout the plate, totally in reverse of his robes themselves. And I think that his greatsword is just like laying down beside him, like strapped to maybe the side of this horse.
Right.
And
this is the training sword, right?
Yeah.
The house training
This is
sword.
one day he'll get the house sword, but not yet.
Yeah.
And he's got this like long curly golden hair that's just kind of bouncing with the horse as he rides.
Awesome. And V, how do we find Mara in this?
I imagine that with this, Mara is probably riding alongside Samwell. She is dressed in this kind of heavy, like silk gown, that kind of thick. It's embroidered, but with no particular pattern. It's just there to give this silk some texture. And she's got this woolen riding cloak wrapped around her shoulders, and as much of the dress as it can cover with the rain. And she's got the hood up, but only just so she can still speak to the other people around her amidst the rainfall. And just underneath the cloak, you can spot the kind of low, very like popular Reacher, almost Dornish to some degree neckline that comes down with this metal detailing all across the neckline and the front of the torso. And she's not enjoying the rein. I imagine she's got her hands wrapped around the rein of the horse, and she's, sitting quite upright in the saddle, but shoulders very relaxed back. And she just turns to Samwell. It's like, I was rather hoping that the weather wouldn't have turned so quickly. The rest of the journey was fine. Bad omen? You're muted, Dom.
Samuel just sort of flashes a smile over aside to Mara and says, "Of course it's fine. It's just the weather. We're almost there anyhow, aren't we?"
That's what I'm worried about. I haven't been back since... She just kind of gives him that look. This event that both of them have spoken about long before and many times over the past few years. And she doesn't really even have to say it.
Regardless, you've shared correspondence with the Lady Marzia. Sure she's not out for blood? I assume that probably comes off screen, and
Yeah, sure.
Simon would be very lackadaisical. This is an area that he's somewhat familiar with from his childhood and travels, and his dress, in contrast to the robed finery of both Mara and Samwell, it's ratty. It's not very well kept, even though it might have once been like a fine material that was a beautiful gray and black shawl or robe that kind of clings to him. It's now very faded, tied into very intricate knots, and there is a green ribbon that holds his hair aloft. It's much longer now, and his face is a little more sallow with age. But he seems to be taking the weather a little bit better, or at least not minding it as much. No hood or anything. He's just sort of like, rain's gonna get to me anyway. Oops.
I'm sure you're right, brother. I don't think she would have invited me, or any of us, if she were out for blood.
She very well might have. She were exceptionally cruel.
The Lady Marzia is many things, but I don't think cruel is one of them. At least I try not to. And I imagine she turns back to Tarly. I like to imagine the three of them are riding three abreast, and it's just like this awkward back and forth between them all.
Donna, do you think you've got a little entourage?
Oh, yeah.
I want to ask you as well, you think you've got a squire?
He would definitely have a squire. Probably for the last couple of years, the same squire, I would imagine. What's his name, Sam?
I'm going to let chat. Do you know what? Greg's in chat.
Yeah.
Gregor.
Yeah. Gregor.
His name's Gregor.
An ominous name for a squire. So he has a little entourage that I imagine they're riding behind him in this sort of triangular formation, so that he's in the front along with this front row with Mara and Simon. And when the talk moves to Lady Marzia and to Fox Hollow, there's a wary look in his eyes, and he sort of brushes some of the golden hair out of his face, and he says, well, regardless of what sort of intentions she has, how she might feel about what we've done, we're here to make things better, to make things right, are we not?
And at that, she gives him a very genuine smile. Yes, I suppose we are.
In faith, my lord, you speak the truth.
Oh, she moves her horse slightly closer to Tarly's, so she's riding right up alongside him, like enough that she could reach out and touch him. And she kind of takes the reins with one hand, kind of steadying the horse, slowing down just a little bit to compensate. And she reaches into a pocket within her cloak and pulls out this, what looks to be like a small handkerchief that's been embroidered. And it bears the sigil of House Tarly in decent, but not particularly perfect embroidery. It's obviously been hand embroidered. And she kind of it's kind of folded in her hand, and she kind of just passes it over to you, Samwell, and says, I sewed this for you while I was stopped over on the road. I thought it might be good for you to have a favor for the tourney. Although with all the rumors, I thought it best not to give it to you at Fox Hollow. People will already speak enough when we get there. Perhaps it's not best to have them speak anymore. And she kind of laughs. There's no hint of like worry or upset in those words, but she passes it over to you.
He keeps riding, but he'll take it in one hand and sort of look down to observe it as they kind of come up maybe to the top of this little ridge on the road. And he smiles back and he says, I don't care what people think. This is lovely. Thank you. I also have a favor for you. Gregor, and then he kind of like waves his hand behind him and ushers his squire to come forward. Right. I didn't keep it on myself, but Gregor, he has it.
Well, what is the point of a squire if you can't make him carry your things occasionally? Exactly. What is it? She looks really shocked at the idea that you've done anything for her. And she's just like, it's like a child at Christmas in that moment.
Oh, it's nothing. I admit I didn't make it myself, but I had a good friend of the family at Horn Hill made it for you. And Gregor brings up and presents. It's folded, but it's a light fur cape. It's made out of white deer. So it's very, very light and bright. And he takes it out of a sack so that like the dust and dirt of the road doesn't get it dirty. And embroidered through it are dried forget-me-nots. And I like he's beaming. He doesn't know if this is like, he doesn't know fashion, but he's beaming when he sees it. And he takes it and he says, "This is for you, a celebration of you returning home, Mara."
And I imagine that she takes this in her hands and just, she can't even say anything for a minute. She's just feeling over the softness of this pelt and kind of tracing her fingers around the forget-me-nots. And then she just looks up at you. Thank you. This is beautiful.
I just hope the Greenmonts don't take offense at you wearing it. You hear Gregor just kind of say from the back.
I imagine she looks over her shoulder and she's like,
"It's becoming a thing."
I imagine that she looks over her shoulder, and I imagine that she knows Gregor. Her and Tali have travelled, and she's visited Hornhill. So
been with Samuel a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah,
and they tend to just stick around like all the time. They're like part servant, part trainee.
They're just kind of there in the background.
They're always there, and they're always helping him out. Yeah, for sure.
And I imagine that she looks at him and just kind of smiles and says, "They can hardly take offence to me wearing the flower that decorates my own father's house, can they? Oh, this is..." And she just can't stop saying how pretty it is. I imagine that she just like, she shoots him a really kind of like the equivalent of like sticking your tongue out, but slightly more ladylike. Just like a look that's purely in jest.
It's the white woman look from Daenerys in season 8. The little smile.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's that, yeah.
For sure.
And she's just stroking this pelt, and she almost like turns as if to show it to Simon, although he can probably already see it because they're all next to each other.
Yeah, and I think as soon as he sees it, he in the background as all this has happened, I imagine that he's just sort of been like counting the chains that he's received. Like he had bronze and fool's gold kind of embroidered throughout, and now it's grown even further to encompass about like 45 links. And he plays with the most recent one that he acquired, which was for fool's gold for more studies in the underworld. And as he looks, he has one of those smiles that doesn't reach his eyes.
I feel like Mara knows you well enough to know that this look is a look of judgment.
Yeah.
From there, it's like, yes,
one of those smiles. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those smiles where it's like, oh yes, this is very wonderful. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to us? Why?
I think Mara delights a little bit in how uncomfortable Simon clearly looks. It's just that sibling rivalry thing. And she kind of shows it off to you. She's like, "Oh, come now, brother."
Oh,
wow.
A perfectly serviceable piece that I am sure that many will delight in the novel aesthetic of it.
I'm sure many will delight in the gossip of it too. I know that's what you're thinking. And she kind of looks back to Samwell.
I think Samwell's looking to Simon, and he doesn't pick up on Simon's subtleties at all. He's just beaming this big doofy smile like, yeah, I did good.
Again, perfectly serviceable piece, my lord. I am quite pleased that you could have such an exchange in the company of... in private company. He quickly just sort of goes back to the road, and Mara, you see him begin to like twist his fingers, like almost as if he's trying to fight the words that are trying to come out.
She absolutely knows that Simon is uncomfortable, and in that kind of sisterly way, is slightly reveling in it. And she just looks at Simon, watches him, wringing his hands, laughs to herself, looks back at Samwell with a look of like, oh dear, like you didn't get it. It's like, he's worried that it looks like too much of a display of affection. I don't think he realizes that people have been talking for years now, and it's never bothered me or you.
Whispers soon become proclamations.
Yes, they do, but we're at a tourney. It's full of whispers. I'm sure there'll be some other gossip to talk about within 5 minutes of us arriving there.
Hopefully it'll be a bit more entertaining than just the whispers.
Gregor. He looks over the side to his squire, and he just sort of jerks his finger back over his shoulder and says, "You can fall back now, Gregor. We'll catch up later." And then looks aside to Simon, and he just says, "My friend, don't you think it's better that if someone's going to speak your name in private or public circles, you control the story that they're telling?"
I distinctly remember being one of the first to teach you this lesson, Lord Tali. It is more than wonderful to control narrative, but it is quite another thing to control a person.
Mara is just looking between the two of them as this exchange happens, like she's watching some form of entertainment.
And as Gregor is sort of being sent back, Simon will shoot like a more kind glance, sort of like, you're asking the right questions. They're just being, you know how they are. Please just go.
I think Mara looks at Samwell. It's like, I'm starting to wonder if your squire is the one starting rumors,
It's fine.
God knows what he
does.
thinks.
Well, if he thinks anything negative of us, he certainly hasn't shared it with me.
Well, I mean, why not just add rumor to rumor? My husband's already in prison. And she kind of says it with a wince and with a slightly careless flippancy almost. It's like, at least this is something interesting. Not the same boring whispers that I have to hear at court and everywhere else. And the pity. God, the pity. I'd much rather they think there's something far more salacious is going on.
And he sort of clears his throat and looks uncomfortable when you mention Alistair a little bit, and he just sort of passes it off with, well, soon we'll be in with your family and all will be right, and they can only speak good words of us then.
I hope. She reaches out to Tali's arm, noticing the uncomfortableness at the mention of Alistair, and just kind of like reassuringly like gives it a squeeze before grabbing back the reins of her horse, just in that, like, in the acknowledgement that she mentions the subject that makes both of them quite uncomfortable.
Cool. All right, I think unless there's anything else from you guys, we'll head back to the tourney grounds and to Marcia. Flanked on your right-hand side, Enzo as well rides up with you as you come almost to a lordly presentation. This is a kind of equivalent of their patron, or like if you were to receive the Tyrells or even like the king, you'd get everyone in a line and like everyone would kind of be there ready and waiting for you. And this is what you come to as you come to the tourney grounds, into this kind of wooded area with these different glades and a larger glade in the center. This area having been picked out for that topography, I guess, which makes it a good tourney ground in that people can camp, and then there's a central area for the actual tournament itself. As you come to that central area, you can hear the kind of hammering of wooden mallets onto wooden posts and such going into the ground, and you can hear some shouts from workmen. But it's Sir Henrik, isn't it? Yeah. Sir Henrik is there, and now more and more people are starting to kind of come forward, line up, as you. We'll start you still on the top of your horse, you having ridden in here.
I think sitting in front of her on the saddle is Lord Bryn Greenmont, and she's kind of got her arms on either side holding the reins, keeping him, all 5 years old of him, in the saddle.
Like
and
when you sit a little
down.
kid in a car and kind of pretend that they're driving, kind of
Pretend
thing.
that they're driving, yeah.
Yeah.
She leans down and she says, "My lord, what do we say?" And she's prompting him basically to be thanking the people who have been working hard for the tournament, and to wish them a good tournament, and just like little things that she's kind of got him to be able to parrot out.
Yeah.
To make him feel included as much as anything else.
Is he shy about that, or is he? He was always the crier,
Bryn's
right?
the crying baby.
Bryn's the crying baby. I think Bryn doesn't look at them, and he says whatever it is that you've taught him to say. So I guess the kind of...
Thank you for coming to the Seven Tourneys Kingdom.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Exactly. It's like, and that's the one for everybody. You could only have taught him one sentence, maybe, and it's like, no, they're building that. Never mind. All right, cool. I mean, there's a little hurrah, I think, as you'd care to dismount, and then Sir Henrik is your point of contact, and for Enzo as well, I guess. If you've got a bit of a hand in helping Marzia out with this, putting it together at all, then he's also speaking to you as well. And he says, "Thank you for coming down today, my lady. People have already started to arrive. Let me take you round the grounds and direct you to where things might be." And he pulls you round to the... Not pulls you, sorry. He kind of guides you round to the actual... Not called lists, are they? The actual ground, the tilting thing.
The tilt.
Yeah. He guides you around to that, and there's a nice kind of nobles little kind of stadia put up. Lots of kind of almost like trestle benches kind of thing on the one side, and then there's like basically a standing only kind of fenced bit on the other side for the small folk.
Those not sitting on cushions.
Exactly, those not sitting on a cushion, right? As he takes you round, you having just come into this middle section, this really quite large glade with these, even for the Red Mountains, these quite large trees that now in the autumn are just slightly turning, getting a hint of their kind of like red coppery leaves that starts to blend in with the overcast now, so the Red Mountains aren't as kind of vibrant as they might be in the mid-afternoon, or no, sorry, let's say just before lunch, how bright they might be from the sun. But please, my lady, this way as well. And he takes you past all of that, and he actually kind of walks you along the... He kind of walks you along one side, as if, kind of walking you through where the knights would be. It's a proper kind of politician's guided tour thing, right?
Yeah, the trees should be beautiful come the end of the tournament.
They bring a...
Doesn't take them long to turn.
Yes, my lady. They will bring a certain something to it. And he's not an aesthete, so he's not, he didn't necessarily think that, but actually, yeah, okay, cool. And
I would prefer to keep the fire in the trees. What plans have you made to keep this from descending into a brawl? That is certainly what many have come for.
Yes, as you said before, my lady. Well, we have made sure, and my marshals are ensuring that different parties are in different camps and different glades. We've actually marked out the first 5 for the champions themselves and whatever entourage they might bring, and of course their friends and their allies are welcome to stay there with them. begging your pardon, the Dornish contingent are more along the eastern side, with several glades dedicated to them. Some have already begun to arrive. Obviously, Sir Lewin, Sword in the Morning, has his champion side, but there is a small contingent of Danes down there too. I believe a different branch, perhaps, as most of his friends and allies are with him in his champion's glade. But the Fowlers and the Manwoodies have made a camp a bit further north in a glade just around, and he's kind of trying to point through the trees, and you can hear just in the distance like the crack of a new fire, and kind of just hear people talking.
Well, Henrik, everything seems to be as we have planned and discussed. Why don't we go and greet some of our guests? What's the point of coming all the way out here if we don't see anyone?
Of course, my lady. Let me take you through past the hospitality and Smith's camp as well. And as he does so, he kind of takes the nod that this is a very kind of quick tour now. But what he does is he points out that this is the tavern tent, my lady. There have been trestles and everything's arranged, and the barkeeper's well in situ by now, and the barrels of ale are resting for the day. And then, of course, we have the Smith's camp, and around there, a group of traders have set up. Some have actually basically kind of just moved their caravan, like a caravan of goods that almost is a shop in itself, just sat there. But then you've also got stuff where people have actually set up tents, and then, I mean, one or two they've actually started to kind of assemble or build these kind of mobile forges to start mending and making armor or smithing. There are quite a few weapon racks out here. There's a pile of wooden like fragile tourney lances to one side that are now hastily being covered because of the rain. And it's Lord Tyrell and Sir Gawain Oakhart and his kind of contingent are looking at a stall that's been laid out as a smith is setting up his stand, I guess.
Marzia will do a half glance over her shoulder, looking for the familiar large hat of Enzo, having a feeling she is about to do politics.
Enzo at the moment is currently looking at the tavern place situation, giving a good eye, having a look. He seemed pretty bored up until that point. But he turns and gives her a warm smile and steps up next to her and just gives her a little nod.
Enzo, won't you come with me while I greet? She was going to say friends, but she just can't make herself do it. Lord Tyrell and his friend.
Audacity. Okay, sorry.
Of course. Please, lead the way.
Come along, my lord. And she's got Bryn by the hand, and she'll continue leading her son across.
Enzo's going to go to Bryn, just a little wave and a smile.
He I think I want to frame a little bit of your relationship with him as like quite jovial, quite jokey. He can't help himself. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like you could be at dinner and you just make a single face and he loses it.
I do it often.
Yeah, right? Like this little face and he's just in fits of giggles and he's trying to stop himself, and you can feel him fidgeting at your side as well, Marzia, like as he does. I think
Marzia's doing the classic mum thing of trying not to like laugh at the child because she thinks it's hilarious that he finds it hilarious, and trying to be like, when he glances, look sterner so that he knows how he should be behaving. But it's clear on her face she's just really amused as well, and she'll walk along.
Tom, how?
Sorry, Wayne.
Just before we meet him, Tom, how difficult? What's the difficulty of your face for Bryn? I'm gonna have the
What?
first roll of the season.
What do you mean? Difficulty of my
You have to set me a
face?
difficulty in degrees of 3.
Oh, for like
How hard it is to control himself.
I'm gonna make him roll a will test, and I want to know how hard is this.
I mean, he
phase?
wasn't trying particularly hard at that point. He was just a little wave and a smile, so probably about a 6.
Like a
It's
6.
Quite easy.
Okay,
Quite easy.
cool.
You know.
Okay. So, literally as you then meet Lord Tyrell, Bryn's just still giggling. Like, not much, but he's still just like, and he will occasionally just glance up at Enzo and start kind of giggling again. But he's trying to control himself.
Lord Tyrell, Sir Gawain, we are in good spirits and hope you are too.
Lady Greenmont, my lord Greenmont, and he actually goes down onto one knee. This a kind of average to slightly tall man is Lord Tyrell, Lord Leo Tyrell, quite skinny, a little gaunt in the face, and his blonde hair that was starting to grey has greyed and gone a little bit further back on his head. And yeah, he kneels down, I think, to Bryn, and kind of gives him a, like, on one knee, kind of gives him this little kind of faux bow and kind of bows his head. And Bryn kind of finds that a little funny as well, and gives him like a bow back. He knows who this is, I think. You will have briefed him, I think, well enough. He knows who this is. And he kind of parrots like you've been teaching him. My lord, it's a fine camp that you've put up here.
Much work has gone into it. We thought at first it would be only a small event, but a tournament for the Southern Kingdoms grew more apt, and as the seasons change, a fine opportunity for us all to come together. How is your kind lady wife and your mother?
They are very well. And my son too. You should stop by the camp during the tourney. I know that we have the dinner tonight at Fox Hollow, but you should come by.
Of course.
You speak about coming together, and I wonder if it was obviously time that you came to Highgarden a little more.
Things have kept us very busy, but it is always a delight to cross the mountains and see the gardens. Always a pleasure to see the small blooms amongst your finer roses.
Mm-hmm. And he looks at Sir Gawain, who kind of gives him, and I don't think this is gonna skip anybody by. I'm not gonna make any kind of silly perception tests or anything. And so Gawain kind of gives him that kind of, like that was a thing. And he's got this, and kind of, he draws this sword from one of the on the rack, and he's kind of pushing it back and forth, making it like glisten a little bit in the sun, and it just bounces across your face a little.
Come, my lord, you can't take offense at such a silly joke.
What? Of course not. This is very well weighted. Whose is this? And from, as the guy's setting up his forge, on the other side, almost kind of behind his three-walled sided tent, a woman's northern voice says, "It's mine, my lord." And she steps, and Kiri steps forward.
May I present our artisan blacksmith, my lord?
And she curtsies.
This is Sir Kiri.
It's a very well-balanced sword, my lady. I'm no lady. Don't worry about that. But it's a very well-balanced sword, yes. And it's yours. And she offers him a price for it, obviously. And he kind of laughs and declines and then puts it back in his rack.
The title, of course, only an honor in our home, but well earned, in my opinion. Although, do not fear that you will need to buy such a sword. We have made one for each of our champions here at the tournament.
Thank you very much. I obviously don't intend to leave the champions podium.
I would hope for nothing less.
It's a shame that I can't challenge any of the others. Sir Lewin would be a fantastic match to ride against. Believe I only managed to ride against him once when I was much younger. And he was a fine knight then.
We shall see how the tourney turns. Perhaps an opportunity may arise.
And you have denied me the chance to challenge Prince Maekar to a tilt.
It was not an earnest denial.
Of course
More
not.
offering the prince a chance for a little fun. Who am I to deny him his chance in a joust?
No. Who are you two indeed?
Enzo's going to step forward and he's going to go, forgive me, but I do not know the customs as well as it. But if you wish to joust with his grace, I mean, surely you can just joust with his grace. I mean, if you are so too wanting to.
Sir, I don't believe... I tell you what. I want to do something in terms of a role where, like, almost you roll reputation.
Right.
Actually, let's make it just against a difficulty for you. Ha. No, this is going to be against his passive. Where is he, Leo? This is going to be against his passive. No, that doesn't make any sense. If he knows more people. I mean, it's kind of against his passive knowledge as a kind of marker, I think. So we're looking for a 12 here, Tom.
Okay.
If your reputation can beat a 12, he knows who you are, I think.
I don't have anything in reputation.
That's cool. Straight
Does
status
anything from
test
your
is good.
benefit
Five.
apply?
No, not with reputation. No, I mean if you can let me add a charm and stuff like that, then yeah. But no.
Have you got famous? Did you take?
I've
famous?
got famous, the trait.
Oh,
famous.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Mate, well, I'm not even right. Screw the roll.
Okay.
And you can arrange that for your former sponsor. Can you, Captain?
I do not need to arrange anything. You simply approach his grace, requests a joust, and he will say yes or no. Is that not how things are done here?
Is that how things are done in Bravos?
This is how things are done on my ship.
Seven Kingdoms, Captain, are not your ship. To walk up to a Targaryen prince and challenge him to a joust, I
My
can't
lord,
even begin.
if you care for it, I can make the introduction for you. His grace has always been very approachable.
Is there? I feel like this is a role, Charlie. Are you trying? Are you trying to get something kind of out of him, or is this like a taunt? Or like,
This is, I mean, it's kind of a taunt. It's mostly just she knows they're going to be back and forth like this the whole time, and it's just like warm up for her at this point. It's just.
Would this?
It's expected. I could roll a taunt though. I think that's the closest thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could do. Would this? Let me phrase it like this. Would this set you up for something you want to try later on? Like get you an environmental quality later in an intrigue or something? Would this be something that you want to use later?
Yeah, I think she's trying to definitely set it up so he is a little bit like button pushed around her, where she's kind of setting him up to dig his own holes later, I guess.
Yeah.
If he's willing to like play this game right now when no one's watching, she's willing to see if she can push him later when people are watching.
I don't know. I'm just having fun. Okay, right, yeah. Sure. Okay. Simple intrigues. Sorry.
So we could do either intimidate
Quick
or a taunt,
intrigue.
one or the other.
it's however you want it to, like, A, come across, and B, how you want to play it, I think.
I think considering he's got his bestest body right next to him, he's not going to take an intimidate from a woman, but I'll taunt him. I think it's going to be more of a taunt the environment we're in.
It felt taunty, yeah, for sure.
All right, so this is going to be my straight persuasion. I have no bonus dice. 10. Huge.
Okay.
I don't think anything makes a difference to that.
Perhaps another time, my lady. And yeah, unless you want a parting shot or anything, they're gonna make their way back to.
I think she makes more of a reconciliatory shot in a way. It's not like another taunt; it's more friendly. Sure. And she says, "Don't worry, my lord. I promise this tourney will be most entertaining for everyone, and you will have many enjoyable bouts. But if you are still not sore enough come the end of it all, I will see that you have full satisfaction."
Sorry. Yeah, he I think he smiles at that. I think also he looks Marzia up and down. Kind of a little of that, just kind of trying to take in what she's about in that moment, and then heads off with Sir Gawain. And tiny little side note that I wrote down a while ago and we never made a big thing of, his Ironwood squire wearing the Ironwood livery. So yeah, livery. Yeah, you've got a little Ironwood tabard on and everything. Yeah. Cool.
Can I just do one quick thing?
Of course you can, mate.
If you're going. Enzo's going to kind of edge towards Sir Henrik. Sir Henrik, show me where Lady Marzia will be sitting, please. And his Lord Greenmont.
Sitting? Staying?
No, sitting when they are watching the jousting.
Oh, of course. Well, my lady, and he brings you all
over.
And
he'll kind of grab before going, just you and me, come on. And just kind of usher him quietly.
Okay. Yeah, no, he does so.
Okay. And so where's she currently sitting in the stands? I mean, how's it laid out at the moment? Because there's going to be like 3 judges and right?
Yes. There will be 3 judges. Normally they'd put like a judges panel in towards the center so they've got a good view. They would put whoever's hosting or whoever is the kind of the celebratory person or the beneficiary of the tournament would be in like a proper, like, they're at the top in their own little box.
Okay.
In the center. But you have to remind me, Charlie, you're thinking that Marzia is going to be a judge, right?
No, she's not going to judge in the end. We changed it because she knows nothing about the joust, so it would be kind of weird. So she's chosen to watch, and her father is essentially judging in her stead for her as the expert that she knows.
That's right, yeah. So Henrik explains that the judges will sit in the center of the stands, where Lord Crane will sit, and then Lady Marzia and her guests, whoever she could. So Charlie, you can invite people up there to sit with you as well if you want, and obviously Lord Bryn will sit at the very top in their own little special box.
So so Lord Bryn and Lady Marzia would be on their own, right? There'd be no one else around them.
Well, like there'll be guards, and like there's a few other seats. It's like having it's like having a royal box at the theatre. It's fairly accessible to other people if they want to approach and chat to them and stuff. Part of the point, I would guess, is that people they'll want to be seen. They'll also want to be accessible. They'll want to talk to, and Lady Marzia will want to talk to other people. So
Enzo's going to stare at it, and he's going to. It looks a bit plain, Sir Henrik. For Lady Marzia and Lord Greenmont. I mean, there needs to be. I want all eyes on her up there. So I need something to draw the attention to them.
So I've been putting together tournament stands for near score a year now, and
Yes.
the lords and ladies I put in those boxes tend to be the ones that want to stand out, not the stand itself.
Oh no, she will. But I want the attention drawn. Everyone. Do you have a carpenter?
Yes, sir.
How would you like to carve forget-me-nots around the edges of this thing?
By tomorrow morning, sir.
Yes.
That's...
Can you do it or not?
it stags more work.
It'll be fine.
If you can pay, sir, then I can find my man.
I need to check how much tax I have. Oh, okay, yeah. You know what?
How many?
I can.
How many stags?
I still got 30 gold dragons.
How many tomes is this worth? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I guess pretty artisanal work if you want it done right. And he's got some good carpenters. Putting on these tourneys isn't cheap. The whole thing itself, what it's cost us several wealth points, which are kind of like about 200 dragons each. So a lot of work's gone into this. I mean, he can offer the work at about 100 stags, I think, and that's rush work as well. Like you want this carved in. He's going to have 3 of his guys not set up a thing over there.
They're not important. The important person is here. So, I would like you to do it. And then I want you to, I think we need to be doing it all more silks around here to make it more, we need to, eyes. I want all eyes on that attention. I want people not even looking at the joust. I want them looking up there.
I don't have silks, so.
What do you have?
I do have some green and black cloth.
Yes.
That was going to be on the fencing of the bottom row of the stands.
Put it to the top.
Aye, sir.
Yes. He pauses, he looks, he's trying to imagine it. And flowers.
Mate, I'm having some real bleed here of event management and bosses coming in and just going, nope, can do that now. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think more flowers as well.
More, just more flowers.
Color. Man, we need color.
Where?
Around the box, around all the stands. I think that would be quite nice. I have faith in you, Henrik, that you will do it. And he taps him on the shoulder. I will see you later tonight. Yeah, I will see you later tonight for the feast. Oh, and don't forget your hat. And he walks back off to Marzia.
I mean, if you think he's now turning up to the feast as well as getting all that work done,
Oh, Enzo knows. How do you think he's going to win the biggest hat competition?
Fair enough. I didn't know that was a competition, but sure.
This is all a big play to keep this Sir Henrik from turning up in a hat anywhere.
Cool. All right. Was there anyone in particular, Marzia, that you were looking to find? Let me kind of lay out the scene, I guess. Yeah, so there are the champions glades, basically, that they set up camp in. So we have Sir Ellery Peak is already setting up his camp as
he has
champion.
a babysitter, he's alright.
With Miria. alongside him. Susie, I guess she's gone for a second, but I think she has to come up with a squire for Sir Ellery.
Mm-hmm.
We have Prince Maekar, who, for sake of casting, should not be appearing in this scene, but
to make it simple, Sam, I think Marcia is going to go and see the Fowlers and the Manwoodies who are on an outlier, not in one of the Champions Glades first, and then she would just do a routine. She'll go and greet the Danes after that.
Sure.
Make sure that the Dornish contingent are basically settled and made to feel welcome. Maybe have a barrel of one of the ales, whatever, or wines, whatever, kind of brought with as a welcome to Camp Marcia.
Camp Marcia. Nice, yeah, and that barrel's brought along by a servant on basically like a wheelbarrow. They're trying to do it as carefully as they can, not to kind of like move the ale and shake up all the hops and stuff that's still inside. As you walk down this kind of muddy kind of road or kind of path, you see you see by there, you've made a cut through, and so you're coming up on what is probably going to be more like the Marcher camp, and where they've tried to divvy it up, and you can see the heraldry. Excuse me, I was going to sneeze. The heraldry of Lord Pierce, who Lord Pierce Caron, who is a fairly close neighbour of yours, actually, at the very top of the Prince's Pass.
Mm-hmm.
You see his heraldry of a yellow field with a black crow on it. And as you pass by there, you also see a camp as well. One of the first Dornish camps that you come across is a kind of a light and dark green checker with a golden quill. And actually coming the opposite direction of that lane is looks like a knight or a lord. He's done up in quite noble chivalric garb, but Dornish in fashion. And kind of catches your eye and actually approaches and then gives you a deep bow and says, "My lady Marcia Greenmont." And this aging Dornish man with curly kind of golden hair gives you this bow, and there are a couple of other Dornish kind of Dornish men and women flanking him either side, as you have a little entourage kind of thing too as well.
Marcia politely tilts her head in return. She doesn't know this man.
He introduces himself.
Oh, he does?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he just about to. So he says, as he rises and can, I guess there's just a second where you kind of obviously you politely don't speak, and that is I guess that's like a noble cue to basically be like, don't know who you are. That's very nice though. So yeah, he's like, Sir Stefan Jourdain, my lady. But in a Dornish accent, because I forgot.
Welcome, Sir Stefan.
I am looking forward to this tournament. Thank you very much for the invitation of the Dornish nobility.
Of course, we are 7 kingdoms, are we not?
Understandable, I just...
And neighbours too.
Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, the Carons. Yes, we are much further into Dorne and all that, along the northern coast. The Tor.
I'm told the weather can be quite brilliant there.
Much, much more beautiful than the storm coast to the north, yes.
And what terrible storms they have been having.
Indeed. It is all cleared up now, apparently, though.
I am very pleased to hear that. I hope no storms will brew over the tournament, that we might all enjoy the last of the sunshine and the most of the harvest.
Of course, of course. My quarrel is not with any of these Marcher lords. here, and I wish them all very well in the joust. I wish myself, of course, the most luck.
I am sure no one would hold it against you if you did take some offense to the recent incursions.
We have bared the brunt of these for many ages. The men of the Reach are no different. Come the year of Aegon's conquest 204, then.
As long as there have been men, there have been squabbles over land, is what my tutors have taught me.
Even the children of the forest could not be spared by them.
It is my hope that as we have grown more educated and gain more understanding and face a change of season, that we can focus on the important things at hand. A better infrastructure, a little kindness for neighbours.
And a little sport now and again.
And a little sport now and again.
Yes. I am surprised that Prince Maekar is named champion, and he is here, by all accounts.
I was surprised too. He has been most busy. It is my understanding with the business of the crown.
Most busy indeed with the remnants of the Blackfyre rebellion.
But it is good that he can be here. Because he is part of this too. Representative of the leadership of the 7 kingdoms, which we are all a part. But mostly I'm pleased because everyone needs a little sport now and again.
Of course. I would humbly ask that if you have the prince's ear like this, in this regard, that does this show some kind of let up in the crown's actions against Tyrosh? It would very much concern me if it was.
I'm afraid I cannot say that I have his ear in such matters, but I have my own concerns. And I do hope this tournament will enable us all to see better the future before us and see where our true enemies lie, the enemies of our peace.
The enemies of our peace, indeed. Well, I hope to see you at the lists in the stands.
So, Stefan, do you ride a sand steed?
I would normally. I have been advised against it. And so I ride a destrier, like the Reacher Lords themselves. Just taking some getting used to, I must admit.
I have seen the great things sand steeds can do. And I will be very interested to watch you ride in the joust.
Thank you very much. I may even reconsider riding a destrier and bring in my loyal sand steed instead.
The creatures we are familiar with bring us great comfort and strength. Should you see a shadow cat wandering around, she'll bring you no trouble. I do not believe you've been a guest before, so I warn you now, she is my dearest companion. And although she likes to menace, mostly she cares for basking in the sun.
I had heard this rumor, yes. I am glad to hear it is not just rumor.
It is always remarkable the things that we find to be truth. And sometimes that makes them a little less scary. Sometimes not.
That is true.
Are you settled? You found a spot for your camp?
Very. We will not be long before we will travel for Foxhollow.
Good. Will you join me? I'm about to greet the Fowlers and the Manwoodies.
Of course, I have not seen Lord Manwadi for a number of years now.
Are we glad to reunite old friends? And if not, make new ones?
No, of course, of course.
And in this moment, she'd like to kind of take a read on him as they've kind of done a back and forth through the sharing of things. A read to kind of see his disposition towards the other Dornish, really, is to see if he seems genuinely relaxed now, or as she brings up the Fowlers and the Manwoodies, if there's any tenseness that maybe returns to him in that way. She won't necessarily understand what the tenseness is, but kind of get that kind of a, does he react, or is he genuinely...
All right, sure. Empathy from awareness.
Perfect. All right, no empathy bonus, so straight 3 dice for me. 10.
Okay. Yeah, he seems pretty genuine in his, like, those lords, I haven't seen them in ages.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he accompanies you quite happily.
And I think she'll look around and she'll notice that Bryn's wandered off because that's what children want to do. And she'll call for her son to come over and greet Sir Stefan and go with them to meet the rest of their neighbours.
Yeah, for sure. So you head over to the Fowler and Manwoody camp. They are essentially... Yes, hello. Sorry, I've got an excuse me, Paul, up on my chair. They've. I reckon they've kind of camped together. They're very close neighbours in the Prince's Pass. So you got like the Manwoodies are, I believe, at the centre, and the Fowlers are at Skyreach to the south, where Briar and Alfred and that were stopped, like when they were heading towards Ironwood. And so you make your presence known to everyone's got kind of a casual watch on, kind of like, they call it like a gate guard, but there's no gate or anything like that, but you've kind of got a gate guard, right?
Yeah.
And so people are kind of coming and going, and they're just kind of casually looking at people up and down. The guards kind of stand a little bit more to attention, a little bit more kind of presentable as you pass, and they recognize. I think they recognize your presence more than your actually that's who's hosting the tournament, or at least your presence gives that away, I think.
The reactions of other people who do know is the clue.
Absolutely. And they check out the Jourdain heraldry that Sir Stefan is wearing, and they're like, yeah, he's all right. And then you head into the Manwoody and Fowler camp, essentially. The Manwoody tents, adorned with in black and adorned with their crowned skull. The Fowlers, let me just make a note. I was getting names as well, names that kind of are similar to the wiki. Oh, okay, that's nice. Lord Miles Manwoody. I like that. Just going to come up with names. And then, the Fowlers, with the kind of, they have white canvas tents, but they have quite a bit of their hooded blue falcon heraldry thereabouts as well. And there's like a group of drinkers, knights who are already enjoying probably a barrel of wine, and you hear a "Let me soar" kind of cheer, the house motto, as you approach. Is there anyone in particular you're, apart from the lords, I guess, it's probably the lords that you're after?
Pretty much just address the lords, but I think she's kind of open to, if they're with a group of people, addressing just all of them. She's essentially presenting the barrel. My kind Dornish lords, an extra drink. It's been a long day already, and it is not yet lunch.
There's a kind of cheer, I guess, from the drinkers, and then a few people kind of come out from tents to see what's going on, kind of who you are, and then now. So hang on a second. I have to remind myself of who you helped, which one it was. Oh yeah, I think so. Yes, it was right. So, so you see Frenlin Fowler. I can't. No, hang on. I can't do Miles Manwoody and Frenlin Fowler. That's just no.
I like it. I might remember it. I like alliteration.
Do you want me to do that?
Yes.
Frenlin,
and it sounds like friend, so I might remember it. I might just call him Friend Fowler for the whole game.
I'll type it in the Roll20 chat for you.
Thank you, friend.
Thanks, George. Frenlin.
Thanks, George. Frenlin.
Absolutely, and yeah, and I think he would greet you in quite a friendly manner.
I'm so glad you could attend the tournament, my lord. And my Lord Manwoody, you as well.
I'm glad too. Yeah, and they.
Amatzia introduces Bryn.
Oh right, yeah, absolutely. Cool.
I think by this point she's gonna kind of pick him up because we've been walking a fair way by this point, so she'll pick him up
probably
and
moaning
sit
his legs are tired,
on her hip a little bit. It's not the most graceful of positions, but right now this is what she's managing. So
no, yeah. And for the kind of picture in my head, I can't remember if she's a little shorter than average or if she's a bit taller or...
She's about average. She's kind of average height.
Sure.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no one's ever remarked that she's very tall, and no one's ever remarked that she's particularly small.
Yeah, it's just kind of average height, and these men, just a few inches, if that, taller than you. You're looking down as you've kind of like popped hip, got your son on your side, as they speak to you. Is there anything you want to be like doing with these guys? Trying to increase the disposition, trying to get any information, any kind of intriguey stuff like that?
I think she would like to discreetly ask the Lord Fowler how things are going. Check in that there's not been any secret raids or anything that she hasn't heard of, or if he's planning anything, she wants to know.
Sure.
But basically just encouraging, making sure they're welcome, which is more disposition increasing, I suppose. She wants to essentially greet people and establish this is going to be chill. We're going to be chill. We're going to have a good time. Here's the wine. Let's go with the fun. Is that if I establish this early, if I cut things off before they happen, it's part of the plan. She knows it's going to descend into a brawl at some point.
Yeah.
But she's doing her best to cut off tensions before they can start simmering away in quiet glades, essentially. And she will go to everyone, but she has made a point of going and seeing the Dornish almost first.
Sure. Well, what I think I'll do, I'll make this reflective of you speaking to kind of more people, but for the sake of like the kind of
we'd have to play out every conversation.
No, for the sake of the cool juicy fruits, let's like this is them. This is you and the Fowlers, and a little bit the Manwoodies will kind of be on the periphery, like chipping in and stuff like that. As I bring up my little sequence of events, battles, right? So yeah. Okay.
Has Enzo reappeared at all in this time, or has Enzo gone off to?
He absolutely can do. Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, sure. Why not? He'll
follow the sounds of a party.
Yeah.
We got beer here and wine.
That's what he's been doing.
He's got a nose for it, like a sixth sense. He just
the court comes out and he's like, "Last of the summer wine."
He just like. He just pops in from outside of the tent as soon as that that vintage bottle opens. Yeah. Okay. So let's not roll for initiative. You take the first turn. Why not? This is your tournament. And let's play out a fairly quick intrigue. I think that'd be really cool. We're really up for that.
Yeah. I know a tourney is no easy expense, even as just a guest. I'm pleased that you could be with us.
I'm very pleased too that I hope to be one of your champions by the end.
I would be very pleased to see it. Of course, I have no inclination how the joust will end up. Although I'm sure many call me foolish if they suspect that I don't think it may turn into a brawl or worse.
Yes, I cannot help but see that the Karens are here. And he kind of gestures with his head. kind of where they're camped a bit further down.
And others, my lord. Others for whom there will be long grudges, terrible histories. But we can never move forwards or be 7 kingdoms if we continue acting as our own private kingdoms, our own private feuds all the time. All that happens is we lose more family.
My wife was talking to me about coming to this, and she suspects you to be a very savvy political mind, that you have brought together these people, and you will either let them play out their quarrels on the tourney grounds, or you have something else in mind.
It is a dangerous game we all play, my Lord Fowler. But it's a game worth playing if we can find a peace between us. We can prosper. Because there are more dangers to us than those that lurk at the borders.
I agree, those that lurk overseas too. But I am a plain man. I wonder what it is, the game that you are playing.
My son is only 5. I wish him to live to be 50. 55. 100 if the gods would grant it. I've seen too many die young, and it is nothing new. I want to find something new. I'm a simple woman in many ways. I'd prefer to be a healer than anything else. And certainly I've caught the lice from men that lie dying in beds. Thankfully, I do not suffer from those things now. But these are consequences that we can manage, that we can seek to avoid. We all have to try a little harder, be a little better. Choose which sacrifice we're making. And have a little sport now and again. Men grow bored very easily, has been the lesson I've learnt. When they grow bored, they like to argue. And when that is not enough, they like to fight.
It's a symptom of our condition, I'm afraid.
Well, I'd much rather you be riding in the armor of a joust than the armor of war.
Nice. Let's roll some dice, shall I?
Yeah.
So...
I just realised I got to open the new cheat sheet. I have the old one open.
I think I've only done version 1.1. That's
yeah,
the one
1.1 is the
open.
latest one. Yeah, I had the older one open.
Sweet.
That's not the smartest cookie.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Um,
what technique are you using, do you think, here?
I think there was a lot of convince to it, but she's trying charm, really. The underlying is to charm him by being honest.
I mean, what's key about this is that it's the techniques that will give you the consequences of defeat. So if the idea for this, because like I pulled up a tertiary character sheet. This isn't some guy I pulled up, so you might knock this out the park. To be honest with you, if charm is the goal. Is the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, go for it. If convince is the goal, though, then maybe it's better to bet on that.
I don't think she's seeking to influence him into a particular thought or action at this point, which I think is more charm. She wants him as an ally and on the same page as her in that regard. So I'm gonna go charm.
Go for it. Yeah. So this is straight influence, is it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Roll the bones.
So for influence, it's just persuasion and then technique. I'm gonna roll charm. I don't have any bonus dice in it. I have bonus and convince, but for honesty's sake.
Sorry, right, intrigue and combat.
So that's a 17.
That is 2 degrees of success.
All right, and it's a willpower is the damage for influence. Oh no, we're doing charm.
Right? So it's your persuasion rank.
So persuasion rank, so that's 4. There's not a great deal of difference.
Is that your rank or is that your actual?
No, that's my rank.
Damage? So
So
8
the 8.
composure damage. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take off that for the DR, and let's leave that, which gives us current composure of that. Cool. All right. So I think his is quite just. He was trying to kind of straight talk you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to roll a convince here, and I'm going to see if I can get something off the bat. 6 versus your intrigue defense, which I doubt. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Wow. That was lousy.
Not even half.
I rolled a 1, 2, and a 3. Okay. He it's annoying. I'm sorry, I've forgotten kind of the end of what you said, but like you can see he's quite agreeable and quite pliable at this point, and he's drinking and he's thinking. I mean, I'll actually give him a consider action for this next one, so you've got free reign here.
Winter, when it arrives, will be hard enough without us all at each other's throats. So if we can make small peace here, maybe there will be a longer peace so that we can focus on the needs of those who share our lands and help a neighbor in the hard times. The Karens were wrong for what they did. We have been wrong. And I am sure, my lord, you have been wrong at some point. But we can make right choices now. And I just want this event to be fun. How long has it been since we've been able to have fun?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it will also be a time when we can make good announcements. The last chance I had for such a thing was stolen away. But it is my hope that at this tournament, and she's going to choose to confide in him in this moment.
Sure.
That we can announce the betrothal of my daughter, Miria, to Lord Peak.
Lord Peak. Our neighbor and I mean, no offense, my lady, the Reacher man that took the Blackmont holdfast for himself. Do not misunderstand me. I know the circumstances, but he still holds that keep.
I am aware. Consider it this way, if you would indulge me, my lord. Miria is half Greenmont, but she is also the daughter of Elise Blackmont. We cannot undo what has been done. What was done was to try and make a peace, to remove a poor lord from his place. And Ellery has done his best to watch over the small folk there in those lands. I do understand it is a terrible presentation, but I hope this could be a new chapter. My daughter and Ellery both lost much. Ellery's father was a difficult man who made terrible decisions. Decisions I have paid for, and many others have. He is dead. Lord Blackmont is dead. Lady Miria Greenmont is alive, as is Ellery Blackmont, Ellery Peak. Too many names.
Sorry.
They were children during the Blackfyre Rebellion. They were torn apart from families in one circumstance or another. The words of the Blackmonts were what other men might leave. I don't want them to feel abandoned. I want them to represent something greater. I want them to represent the peace that we are going to take, that we are going to make. This small shred of hope that we must protect. And they care for each other, which is a small an easy thing to overlook. But just as we sigh that we haven't had much fun, so they have had little space for caring. I do not believe many will be happy of the news. But it doesn't necessarily make it a wrong thing. And I appreciate your counsel and your opinion on this matter.
And he thinks on that for a little bit. And why don't you make your roll here?
All right. This is more influence. This is more straight up convince.
Sure thing.
So I'm going to use my bonus dice. 15.
Very nice.
And this is will damage.
That is 2 degrees.
10.
Very nice. You have succeeded. What outcome would you like from this? In terms of
The
your
outcome
objective?
I would like is, even if she's not convinced him that things that happened at Blackmont were right, because she knows she can't really do that, that he will be supportive of the proposal if it's made. And I mean, the other goal was really that, you know, if the Karens try and start something, he'll think about it before he throws his punch. That's all she's asking. Just think about it once.
You can have one of those two things, Charlie. Support the betrothal or not get into fisticuffs.
Yeah, I'll take the fisticuffs.
Not get into
We can convince
fisticuffs.
people of the betrothal.
That's
I'm just going to let him
nice.
think about it.
That's nice. The role play was very kind of, well, this is a political move, isn't it? What you're doing from his point of view. So yeah, okay. So just
yeah, I think it makes sense. Like, he's got way more to think about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
still an
yeah.
issue for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't get into fisticuffs.
She will
Writing
take
it
a
down.
second thought. If he starts after that, that's fine. As long as she gets a second thought, she'll take it.
Sure.
That's all she's asking.
No, that's fine. He will for restraint when it comes to that kind of thing. Okay, nice. So yeah, and you make your way around some of the other lords that are here, and you try and espouse the same peaceful talk.
We do our fighting on the field, everyone. We do not do the fighting here in the glades.
You keep the drama on the field, okay? Where we can all see it.
Well, we can all see it.
Cool. I want to ask Susie of Miria if there's anything, maybe a short scene you want to do here before I pull most people together and just let you argue for an hour.
I want to find Enzo.
Okay, sure thing. Enzo, where does Miria find you?
So after Marzia has finished walking around the parade grounds, around the thing, he's probably at the tavern. He's going to sample some drinks, see if it's at his stand.
Nice. There's a good selection of mead. There are a couple of beer barrels at the back. They're almost ready, but they're quite frothy. But still, they'll, there's a good bit of Dornish wine here as well. The tavern's done well in getting its stock together, and it knows its audience. I swear I wrote down what it was. Maybe I just said it was like the thing that I know it from LARP. No, okay, right. You can smell the meat cooking from out the back as well. And not only is there basically like this bar tent, or this like tavern, there's basically like another one of these huge like Emperor Bell tent size thing that's just a mobile kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's got cook fires and pots and all sorts of stuff going on. You've got hunters like skinning rabbits and other game and stuff just outside, and then they're prepping stuff as they take it into the tent and stuff. Loads of, and then actually there's quite a few commoners or small folk already like kind of roaming around here and trying to kind of swing a bit of ale and like.
Yeah.
And there are also a few, as you've seen, it wasn't so much in the tour, but there's like there's a few more kind of, not only the smiths area with their little kind of setups and shops and stuff, but there's basically like small food sellers who are here, who are just, you know, hunting a bit what they can and then selling that off in like small quantities and stuff. So it's kind of like a street food atmosphere as well here too, and they've already started.
Yeah.
And there's a certain day before energy about it in the air, you know.
I think Maria smells the food and booze, and she's like, "That's where Enzo is. Where else would he be?"
Yeah, Enzo's already there. You can see him sitting down on a bench. He's got his feet up. He's got a piece of meat in one hand, a mug of ale in the other, and he's just eating.
Maria sits next down to him. She grabs the mug of ale from his hand and takes a sip. Enzo, you old drunkard. I knew I'd find you here.
Melia, it is good to see you.
I take you by surprise?
Well, just a little.
Surely not the captain of the Great Mermaid. Sapphire, the most fearsome bravos pirate of all the seas, was taken surprise by a mere young woman walking up to him in a camp.
You see, when I relax fully. No distractions.
I see. Like a calm harbor.
How are you doing, Miria?
I am doing quite well, despite the weather. But I did, just to get down to business, because I don't want to keep you any longer. You seem to be having a lovely time not working. I need your help with something.
Need my help? Okay.
Yes. I've had a terrible idea that Lady Matza is absolutely going to hate, but... And she like leans in close and says quietly, I want to enter the tourney.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I thought you said something that would probably... You want to what?
I want to enter the tourney.
Okay. I forgive me. I do not know all of Westerosi things, but do you not need to be a knight to enter the tourney?
Well, yes, but I distinctly remember when I was a small girl, my godfather told me the story of a tourney he rode in, and he rode against a woman who wasn't a knight.
Oh, and what happened to that woman?
She almost beat him. Well, she did beat him in the joust. Then they took it to the ground, and he beat her there.
Right, and then what happened after that?
Well, as far as I'm aware, she went on to compete in a few more tourneys after that.
Oh, good. So she didn't die. That's what I was trying to get at.
No, she didn't die. Okay. I feel like I would have brought that up first. If she
I never know with you, Amelia. So you want to enter?
Yes. Now, obviously, nobody can know who I am.
Naturally.
Because, as you know, part of this tourney is about presenting a good face for me and Ellery.
So
yes.
How can I help? What do you want me to do?
Well, I know that you're a man that knows people. So I need you to enter a mystery night into the tourney.
Okay.
I can't obviously walk up to the stewards and be like, oh, here's a last minute night that's suspiciously my height and build. Don't look at that. I need you to do that for me.
Okay.
And
what? Yes.
I don't have any armor. So we need that. I have my spear, so I can do that. But armor is a problem. So we need to get some armor. But again, can't exactly walk up to a weaponsmith or an armor smith and be like, could you make me some armor that, well, not me, for speaking for a friend.
Right. So I am to get you inside this. I'm supposed to get you your armor. This, what do I get out of this?
Well, you get the great, great honor of being the herald of the mystery night and good friend, companion, good stories. And so the story. Think. You're in right here. It's full of people. The ale is flowing. Everyone is hanging on your every word as you make up whatever you'd like to about this mystery night.
That is good. I can think of something mysterious across the ocean.
Beautiful, and especially if you wear your big hat.
Well, of course I'm going to wear the big hat. Of course that's going to happen. I think I can try and do something like this. What part of the tourney? You're not riding a horse, are you? I can't
No,
get you a
but-
horse as well.
No, I'll be entering the single combat.
Single combat. Okay.
I'm not much of a jouster.
Well, he pauses for a minute. I do not want to get you something too heavy to slow you down.
No, I
But
was
I need-
thinking scale or coin mail. That would probably protect me quite well and allow me to move.
I will see what I can do.
Perhaps one of the Dornish merchants.
Perhaps. I will see what I can do.
And 2 other requests. If there's a helmet with a plume, black feathers. Because Marie tends to wear a lot of black these days. It's like her whole thing.
I have-
And the second, the name of the Mystery Knight is a werewolf.
So, I should really make notes of this. You do not want much, do you?
No, well, Enzo, you know me. I never ask much.
Indeed.
What is that face?
Nothing. Just a face that needs more air.
Now, if you see Lady Mate, we
Mhm.
never spoke. This never happened.
What are you talking about? We spoke, but I won't go into details of what we spoke about.
Good.
All right, who's first in? Because I feel like this should be a kind of being quiet mode.
Can I be last in? Because I need to go get some stressed marshmallows. I will be right back.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, then
Me?
we need some full-on juicy fruits. This has either got to be Mara or Simon, like 100%.
May I?
Oh,
B, you're muted. Hey, Jason.
for sure, Jason.
So, having rode in from the rain, obviously, one of the... Oh, man. Yeah, one of the more important things that Simon would be looking for is warmth. And obviously, in the Citadel at least, the warmest place are the kitchens. You're constantly going with fires for any old archmaester. So he would go, and I think he would see them talking from a distance. And as soon as he kind of got the vibe of who this person was, at that point, I think he just very unashamedly full on just stare.
I feel like Mara would probably catch Simon staring, and she looks over in the same direction because obviously we've all ridden up together. And in her mind, from this distance, for a second, she could swear it's her mother. Miria has, grown up so much since Mara has last seen her. Because how long has it been now? Like
5 years.
5 years.
more than 5 years.
Well, Miria was like 11 when she went to
Yeah.
Summerhall. So
Mara
it's been
hasn't
7
seen her
years.
for a long, long time, but she instantly knows who she is because she's the spitting image of their mother. And she looks at Simon and it's just like that's
Enzo's awareness is pretty good. I'd like to think that he would have noticed.
Sure thing.
At least Simon, he knows how Simon looks like, and he notices, and he leans into Miria. Be on your best behavior.
And she kind of puzzles for a second. She's like, and she's about to like hit him back with a sassy comeback because that's kind of the thing they've got going on. But she sort of looks to where he's looking, and any joviality in her face is just gone. And she straightens up.
Enzo stands. He goes, Maester Simon, please come join us over here. We shall get some drinks and some meat.
He's nonverbal at this point. He's literally just locked with Miria.
Okay, I will get the drinks and meat. Okay. And he'll kind of head on over and just grab a load of one for Miria as well. Sure, just all the drinks to the desk. Are you going to stand over there, or are you going to sit down and join us?
He crawls out of his head and just, Lady Miriam, Greenmont, as I understand.
It takes her a little while. She looks over his face before it really clicks, because Simon barely had anything to do with Maria. You know, I think she saw him a couple of times in her life.
And even then, when she was way too young.
Yeah.
Like, maybe when she was 1 or 2.
I think maybe even she says, I'm sorry, I don't believe we've had the pleasure.
We have not. And he'll just sort of angle his head to where his striking emerald eyes are clear.
Simon.
It has been so long. For so many reasons. He'll just sit and just feel his legs kind of give out from under him, but he'll sit.
And what brings you here? Did they release you from Old Town?
Release me, and so I were a prisoner. Yes. 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 I had leave to extend my studies.
Are you here in service of one of the lords?
Tangentially.
May I
The
ask
Lord
who?
Samuel Tarly. And of course his confidant. And he'll turn very plainly to Mara.
Miria has her hand around one of the cups of ale that Enter brought. And as he says Tali, squeezes tighter. And as he looks across to Mara, that thing is like, oh, in her hand, her knuckles are white.
I think Mara has been stood on the sidelines, probably with Tali. She's just been watching. She hasn't approached. She's just let Simon go off.
So
and she kind of looks nervously.
Yeah, I imagine that Tarly hadn't entered. Like maybe he had to go and sign up for the tourney.
Sure.
And maybe it's like this really super awkward moment that the door creaks open and he steps in. He's tall. Tarly now at his age is like 6'4". He is a big, broad, still kind of thin, but large man. He ducks into the door and he's smiling. He looks right to Mara and he says, "Mara, you would not believe how many great knights have come for this tournament. There are so many."
Sam.
Yes.
She kind of looks over to Miria, and it's at this point she realized she has to go and like the moment is here now. She has to say something or it just gets worse. And I think she walks over and she doesn't break eye contact with Miria, who I imagine is just death staring her at this moment.
Oh yeah, full on Kill Bill sirens are going off.
Simon will... Oh, yeah.
She walks up to the table and she doesn't come round. She doesn't go to like move into Miria's personal space. She keeps the table between them. She can see Miria clutching at this mug of ale. She just kind of looks over your face. You look just like Mother.
Lady O'Cott.
It's okay. And I imagine she looks at Simon, who's probably in this moment of wanting to like do some kind of damage control here, seeing it, and it's just like, it's okay. Sam, Lord Tarly, may I present to you my sister, the Lady Miria Greenmont?
And he like clears his throat and he steps up slowly and he looks to the full table. He struggles to look anyone except for Mara in the eye. But eventually he just sort of clasps his hands in front of his armor and his robes and he just bows his head slightly and he says, "Greetings, my lady."
I think Miria looks him up and down, looks back at Mara and gives like a short, sharp laugh that's almost like a bark. You traded one murderer for another. At least this one has the goal to look contrite.
I think this requires more ale. Excuse me. And I get up and get some more ale.
I feel like
one for me too.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I feel like Mara almost, like, she has a moment of, like, that cuts, but she almost smiles. You sound like her too.
At that remark, Simon, where he had that sort of forced smile earlier, it's genuine and, like, impressed almost.
I'm glad you're home.
Despite everything, yes. I wish it were more full. There are people missing.
Yes, there are. There are. I don't think it matters what I say, but I'll say it anyway. I am sorry. I am so deeply sorry for the fact that you lost a man who was like a father to you when our own couldn't be. And I'm sorry that was taken from you. I had no idea what he was going to do that night. But I am sorry for any part in it that you think I have played, and any part that perhaps I played and still haven't realized I have. And I completely understand that those words mean absolutely nothing to you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but just know that I am very happy to see you. Even if you hate me, Father would want you back here. I'm sure Marzia does too. And in you I see, and she's almost welling up and really struggling to keep her composure, because all she wants to do is hug her little sister. And she can't even bring herself to move closer. She doesn't even want to upset Miria by doing that.
Simon will sort of, to the side, just very gently say, "Keep your tears. They're no use here."
You really do look so much like her. I could have sworn you were her from a distance. She would be so pleased. I am so sorry. If you want me to leave you here with just your brother and whoever your, I'm sure, fine companion was, I'm happy to go. I don't wish to cause you any pain, Miria. I'm just happy to see you safe.
No, Mara, I'm sorry. Because that night in the hall, I lost more than my god's father. And Miria stands up. And she's moving to leave. And as she sort of steps past, she says, Alistair sends his regards, by the way.
I'm sorry?
He was most distressed to find out that you had no intention of visiting him or what happened to his child. And then she just leaves.
She just has a moment where she just watches Miria go. Simon, what is she talking about?
What did I know?
She's seen him?
Perhaps. Or perhaps it was something said in hatred.
No. I think she, at this moment, she looks around for Sam. She's just looking, I imagine we're in the tent, right? She's just looking to see where he is. Like in a panic.
I imagine that he has just sort of stood back, not wanting to eclipse the moment. But when he sees the panic building, he just sort of steps forward and very gently offers his elbow and looks down to Mara just to offer his support.
She is shaking, like visibly shaking, and you can see the tears in the corner of her eyes. So she's really trying to hold back because I imagine that there's still other people in here. And I think she takes his elbow and kind of moves in closer to him. Miria's seen him. She's seen him, Sam. I think she's told him about the baby.
He gently places a hand over top her hand and just sort of holds it there a little firmly. And he bends down and he says, "We always knew that today was going to be hard. Small battles, it's the only way. It's going to be okay, no matter what."
I at least thought this day would be free of him. He wasn't supposed to know. He wasn't supposed to know, Sam.
He was always going to find out, one way or the other.
But not
Wasn't
like
he?
this. Yes, but I wasn't going to... I was hoping. Much as my thoughts on him have come to change, I was hoping that holding on to some thought of there being something when he got out of that place would... When? How long has he known? I thought perhaps he'd believe that I wasn't allowed to see him. Just... I need to know. I need to find her. And she kind of like, she squeezes the top of his hand and kind of breaks from him and goes out of the door to see if Miria is outside somewhere.
Simon will follow, completely discouraging this course of action.
And if Tom agrees, I think Enzo and Marzia are outside of the room. Enzo kind of colliding with Marzia and kind of diverting her, I think, from walking in on Miria and Mara and everyone talking for a minute or two.
Has Miria gone like past them then?
I think she's maybe on her way past them.
Okay.
Like as they collide, maybe Miria's on her way out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she's even going to go particularly far, right? She just needs to get outside. And she's like, she's way past the point of anger, of tears. She's just like cold, calm, angry. She's come out the other side.
Sure.
I imagine Marzia has kind of handed Bryn off to someone nearby saying, take the young lord for a nap or a snack, whatever he wants, just away from the big boom that's happening here. And she's let Miria walk past and kind of give an Enzo a look like, here we go, and the rules begin.
I think it's this moment that as that happens, I think Mara comes out of the door shouting after Miria. Like, not necessarily angrily, but she's calling out to try and make herself heard in the hopes that Miri is still around in the general vicinity.
Yeah, the tent flap opens and out she comes.
I think I am witnessing the Greenmont family reunion, and this is not very pleasant. We're going to need a lot of ale.
Welcome to Greenmont family events, Enzo.
Yeah, this is a first, and it's not dull, I suppose. What do you need me to do?
More ale.
Okay. He's going to head over, get a jug, and start pouring ale.
What does Mara scream out?
I think that once she gets outside, if she can still spot Miria, she's not going to like scream at the top of her voice. She absolutely doesn't want to draw more attention than this is already drawing to people. But I think she just shouts across, "You've seen him? You went to see him?"
Mara, I understand that, of course, you are concerned primarily with this unfounded development, but please, just calmness, a sense of decorum, something.
I think she just shoots a look at Simon.
If you must have it handled, let me handle it. Please.
I think she takes a deep breath, like, although she doesn't appreciate in the moment Simon trying to calm her down, she does listen a little bit. And she lowers the shouting. And I imagine that like Miria has probably stopped at this point unless you're walking away. And she just lowers the tone low enough that you can still hear. It's like, "You've seen him."
And Miria takes in a very deep breath. and turns around. Yes.
It wasn't your right to tell him.
It wasn't his right to murder my god's father.
No, it wasn't, and that's why he's locked up for it.
Maria, we have other guests to attend to. Kindly see that they are settled and made to feel welcome.
And she holds Mara's gaze for a minute, like for a good long time, before she turns to Marzia and gives a short nod.
I think as Maria leaves, Marzia just calls after her. That's definitely not one thing you get from Mother. She wasn't spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
Maria calls over her shoulder, I wouldn't know, and keeps walking. Like, she is like full on petulant.
I think Mara takes a breath and looks at Marzia. I'm sorry. How are you?
Trying to decide if I think it is wise that you have come from Hornhill or not.
I didn't start that. I went in, I offered my apologies.
Mara,
I offered to leave.
you should know as much as anyone, it doesn't matter who starts it.
She had no right, Marzia, to go and see my husband and tell him that our baby was dead.
We both visited Alistair.
You knew?
We went to King's Landing together, and while we were there, we sought Lord Iocart to check on his condition.
Did you know she was going to tell him?
We had no idea that you had not been to visit him.
No, I haven't. I hadn't told him about the baby either. Did you know she was going to?
I did not know what Maria was going to say, and I was not present when she said what she did. She asked for an audience, and she was granted one. When I spoke with Alistair, I was aware that you had not been to visit, but only after he told me. And our conversation did not go much further.
I know she hates me, Marzia, but she could have done the decency of speaking to me first before visiting my husband and telling him things I had no intention of telling him.
Alistair has a right to know these things.
He has a right to know when I says he has a right to know. He landed himself in that place.
Of a house. When he is released from that place, and you are his wife, you both have a duty to the Oakhart household, as you are aware, Mara. And that is to continue it. You cannot do that if you do not visit your husband, but that is your business. And I have long since extricated myself from Oakhart business.
Yes. Although I'm not too sure how well continuing the Oakhart line will go anymore.
I do question how wise it is to spend time at Hornhill when it was not just Alistair who took part in the events here at Fox Hollow.
I think you'll find that Sam is deeply distressed by what happened here.
The young Lord Tarly might be deeply distressed. That's what happens when you murder people in a home. That's what happens when your friend faces justice for something and you get away with it. And you travel around the Arbor all the way up to Lannisport drinking with the wife of your friend who is in the cells. Did I miss any points, Mara?
No, you didn't.
Perfectly succinct summation of events, Lady Marzia.
How I travel and who I travel with is no one's business but my own.
Quite.
It's better than sitting around wallowing at Hornhill. Better than wallowing around sitting at Old Oak, mourning what I lost. It's been a long time, and I've had a lot to think about. Can you
we all
blame
have to make
not one?
decisions and live with them.
Yes, except unfortunately, I have to live with my husband's decisions that I had no choice in making.
As I live with your father's decisions.
Yes, and he made some stupid ones at that.
And as we all live with the decisions of men around us, and of women around us, and our own, it does not matter, however, Mara, this tournament is not about your pain. Your personal pain is not about my personal pain. It is about the wound that continues to fester here in the Southern Kingdoms. This scar that people continue to pick at and rip open.
I agree.
I've spent my morning speaking to everyone arriving, all
What
but
is the
begging
move?
them to hold their fists because everyone here is waiting for the brawl that will happen. The brawl that we must keep from happening if we are to mend anything.
You know I want that as much as you do.
Then Mara, no matter what your sister says, you, like the men, must hold your fist. Only your fist is your tongue. You cannot be screaming into the woods. This tournament means a lot for the house, and I will not hide that from you, whether you care or not.
Of course I care. Marzia, we have been apart for too long. I don't want to be your enemy. Whatever happened, happened. I'm past that.
Then you need to understand this tournament means a lot to Miria, and for her future, as well as the future of the rest of the Southern Kingdoms here.
Yes. Look, I made my apologies. I said my piece. I have no intention of seeking her out to cause her more pain. She hates me, but she is my sister, and I still care for her.
Wait for her to come to you, and if she chooses to, then see what will happen. But if there is anything that either of us understand about Greenmonts, it is that they are as stubborn as the mountains and will not be moved.
Not by any force other than their own, no. It is good to see you, Marzia. It is good to be home, if I'm still allowed to call it that.
I must warn you, Lady Oakheart, that you were not welcome at Fox Hollow. The household itself still bears the scars from what happened 5 years ago, the crimes against its people, crimes that the gods have made judgments for.
Of course.
I do not know if there is an atonement or a way, but for now, I would ask that you respect that there is still a wound for us as well.
There is only one thing I would ask of you, if you will allow me to.
Of course.
May I visit the weirwood and see my father's grave? It has been so long. And perhaps may I see my brother, if he's here?
I will make sure that Bryn is brought to you.
Thank you.
As for the weirwood, I would warn you, that is the place where the gods hold. And they have made their judgments.
They have. But they made their judgments on my husband. I can't imagine that the gods would hold judgment over me wanting to see my own father's grave. Just me, nobody else.
Go honestly and be discreet.
I think at this point she reaches out to take your hand and squeezes it. Thank you.
Marcia would allow you to do that.
She like, it's a genuine gesture, and you can see it in her face that she is grateful for this, because it has been a deep pain to her that she hasn't been able to see her father's grave. She hasn't been able to see Oliver's grave and, you know, pay any kind of respects, even, you know, despite the fact she did grieve for him. And, you know, you can feel her hands shaking as she thanks you.
God's Wood is where you'll find many souls that were lost.
Too many. Whatever it is that you need of me here, Marzia, I'll do whatever I can to make sure I don't cause any trouble. I would very much like it to see this scar heal so that perhaps one day my little brother and my son might not take up arms against each other for the feuds of their fathers and uncles and godfathers.
That is the hope.
I think she kind of, she gives your arm a squeeze and that kind of familial gesture. And it's genuine. There is nothing about what she's doing here that's, veiled with some kind of hate. You can really see that whatever was in the past between the two of them, she has let go of that.
Mara, if I might ask one thing.
Of course.
I'd like you to consider the distance between yourself and the young Lord Tarly. Consider widening the gap.
We are good friends. He brought Simon to me. He's offered me comfort. He is not a bad man. He's done bad things, but I think he wants the same as all of us. He doesn't want to see this place turn to war and rebellion again.
Consider it. And she kind of did that, kind of discreetly. She's obviously aware that Maester Simon's right there. Listening in as hard as Maesters do.
And I think that this being the first time that Marcia and Simon are sort of even tangentially interacting, there's an intensity of just the way that he is attending to your words, to even your actions. It's almost like it feels terrible. It's like he's dissecting a bug and trying to figure out what exactly makes it tick.
I think at this, Mara gives Marcia's hand a final squeeze in thanks, and she's still kind of shaking. But she takes a deep breath and she kind of gives her a very genuine smile and just kind of gestures that she's going to make her way to, an encampment set up. I imagine Tarly's entourage have set something up, because I don't know if the oak carts have arrived, and she kind of had not much intention of necessarily hanging around there too much. But she makes as if she's heading back that way and tries to catch Sam's eye as she does so, in the hopes that at some point he will follow after her.
Had Sam come out after Mara? I was going to ask this, and I totally...
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt. So he's holding back far enough out behind that he wouldn't be able to hear, right? Not really. He's not invading that privacy bubble, but he's just sort of standing there with his arms crossed over his armor, kind of awkwardly looming. And he would catch Mara's eye as Mara starts to head off, and then his gaze would turn to Marcia.
So Samwell.
Steps forward a couple of long-legged steps and bows his head a little bit and says, "Lady Marcia, might I have a brief word with you?"
Of course, I have time for all of my guests.
Enzo holds out a mug of ale.
Simon takes it.
Yeah, straight to Sam as well. He's got loads.
Okay.
He's just yeah.
He's that
And
guy
even
at the
Hulk-
bar with
Yeah.
all those pints.
Yeah.
It's great.
He
Yeah.
even goes
Okay.
to Marcia to see if she wants one.
I think if Samuel tries to take one, Simon will instead take it and just have two.
Oh, I'm totally giving Samuel a thing.
Yeah, Samuel will
man.
get a mug.
Yeah,
Even if Simon
man
has
needs
two,
a
he'll
drink.
take the third.
Yeah.
Simon only has so many arms.
It's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he'll flash Enzo just a very thankful smile, and then sort of somber up again and look back to Marcia and say, "I'm not good at these things, my lady, but I am honor bound to tell you that what happened the last time I'm here. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it. My part that I played in what happened.
What was the part you played, Sir Samwell? And why did you play it?
I'll be honest with you, because you deserve that. I went along with whatever Alistair said. I never felt like I was much of a knight. I was so young. And I never felt like a leader. And Alistair was important to me. I know it sounds foolish, but I trusted him and his judgment. And in doing so, my lady, I was wrong. And I can't take that back. And I wanted you to know that I know that I was wrong.
Will you be entering the tournament, Sir Samwell?
It's expected of me, and so I will.
Do you always follow along for everything?
Not always, but my father is a very domineering man.
Funny, that was not my impression of him.
When you are the first son, it's a unique relationship, my lady. I wasn't meant for war, even though that's what my family preaches. And yet, I am part of the family. Everything I have in my life is because of my father and his father.
An experience that my son enjoys very differently. I wish you well in the tournament, Sir Samuel. Samwell, that's my bad. I looked at Sam's name in the corner. Perhaps we will speak again, but I hope that in speaking your part, you find some peace.
Peace, my lady, is why I'm here, truly. I wish for nothing more. And if you ever wish to speak of peace, I hope that I may help, and in some small way.
If you wish to help in some small way, consider how closely you cling and follow my daughter, Mora Oakhart. She is an Oakhart. She is married, sir, to someone you once called friend who you wrongly followed. That is perhaps irrelevant now, but what people see doesn't matter if it's truth or not. It is what they see, and it has consequences. If you care for yourself and for her, consider the consequences.
My lady, Mara lost everything, everybody that was important in her life. They died, or they abandoned her, or they were taken away. I appreciate your words, and I understand their wisdom. But I will not abandon her, like everyone else has done.
Then you better follow along. And she'll look towards where Mara, I think, has gone to talk with Simon, maybe, or moved up.
She started to move away to give like space to what else was happening, but also just the not really knowing what else to say after this outburst. Is that kind of like walking off slightly in embarrassment after you've said your bit? But she's like, I imagine the ground's kind of muddy, so she probably hasn't got very far in her ridiculous heavy dress that she's like trudging through.
I assume at least Simon is trying to keep an ear to the conversation, and at the like everyone else has, specifically that line from Samwell, Mara will probably feel like a jolt in his hold on her, just out of nowhere. But we'll still try and help with the mud and all that.
Samwell kind of bows just halfway to Marzi, and he says, "Thank you, my lady, for having us, for your hospitality." He takes a long pull from the mug and sets it down, and he smiles a little bit at Enzo, and he says, "Thank you for the drink. I hope I will be seeing all of you more over the next few days. Excuse me."
Enzo smiles back, friendly.
He excuses himself.
Her breath, Enzo will hear Marzia swear in Valyrian.
Something along
the lines of "fuck a dragon."
Yeah.
Well, Enzo, there will only be more guests.
Yes. I will go have a word with Miria. I think she might need a word after that.
Please, do. Keep her from seeing Ellery when she's this upset. He won't know what to do with her.
No, probably not. I will do what I can. Oh, and in these moments in time, I know you don't really partake, but really, ale really is good.
She'll reach out a hand for the mug.
Give her the mug.
And she will drink it all.
Big smile. And he'll just kind of laugh off and try and go find Miria.
And she's going to work on putting her hostess face back on.
Yeah, for sure. We could round the session off here, friends. I wonder if anyone has any unresolved bits for this session they want to finish up with.
I mean, the only thing I want is just talk to Miria.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Find her.
Let's finish it off with that scene. So, where does Enzo find Miria by the time he's caught up with him?
Ooh, I think she's maybe gone to a sort of an area that's been carved out for like weapons training, or just sort of like a storage zone for like weapons and stuff. It's just like a bit of sand or like turf or something that's just squared off.
This is going to be one of the longer fields because this is where the archery contest is going to be held. Mm. It's used for a bit of carpentry storage just now, but this is because it'll be a couple of days time before it really gets going. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this will be where Alfred, in honor of Alfred, the archery tournament will be taking place.
So I think she's either found like a stave for practice, or she's just doing the motions of like what she would do with the spear, but with that one in her hand, and she's just running drills, and she's just like putting in like Enzo could probably see like she's like going 300% with her motions, like she's just working it out.
Mm-hmm. He'll approach and just watch for a while, and he'll be watching her, and he's like, and he'll. It's rather sloppy.
She just ignores him for a little bit as she just keeps going, like as he's cajoling her.
And he'll kind of just walk around, keep an eye on her feet. No, you would have tripped over by there. They would have pushed you over.
I think after a little while, she kind of like snaps and brings the point to like where his neck is. She doesn't jam it in his neck, but like
she does that short stop.
Yeah. Like it's an inch maybe. Do you have something to say, Enzo?
You cannot dance when you are so full of anger.
I'd really rather appreciate if you don't mention dancing right now.
Of course. I came to ask how you were doing.
think it's rather self-explanatory. And she sort of wipes her forehead and like she's leaning on the stave now.
I mean, it seems obviously you're trying to exhaust yourself to death.
I am so angry, Enzo. I had pictured what it would be like the first time I saw her since everything had happened. And I knew she would come here with sweet words dripping from her tongue. And I knew I would be angry, but I didn't realize quite how angry. I could have killed her in there, Enzo. And him.
I guess we never know how truly we will react until it happens. But you must understand that you will see them again and again and again during this tourney. And we cannot have you wanting to kill them every time you see them, can we?
I suppose not.
No. Not for your sake, not for mine, but for Matsia's.
What did she say?
You know, Matsia, she is as sharp as any sword. I think Lady Mara and Sir Sam, well, know what to do.
I do know Lady Marzia. I know she's a conciliator.
Indeed.
That's what this is all about, isn't it?
Well, when she first mentioned it, I thought it was just to have some fun. I mean, it has been so boring these past few years. Well, not boring, but something big. However, over the years, I've recently learned that no lord, lady, or sir does anything without an ulterior motive. I would like to think that Marzia did this for peaceful means. I really do. Why do you think she did it?
I don't know, Enzo. Tell me, what am I supposed to do the next time I see Mara Oakhart?
Well, most likely, well, I would suggest drink, but the problem with drink is that although it can calm you, it can also enrage you as well. So I would recommend avoiding drink for a while. I would say, and this is coming from me, mind you, is to remember your duty. To the house, to Marzia. Hold your tongue. And do what all good Westerosi ladies do, and be polite and happy and whatever else things that they do. Difficult for you, I'm sure.
Miria sort of smiles slightly, takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, and then she uses her stave to whip Enzo's foot out from under him and get him in the ground. And she puts the point again at his neck and says, "But I'm not a Westerosi lady." She offers him a hand.
That is where we'll end tonight's session, I think. That little punchy move. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, friends. We're back, aren't we? God.
Oh. Different year, same shit.
Same shit.
Giant marshmallows now.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, let's a quick whip round. Give our plugs and our quick reactions off the back of that, of getting the family together. There have been a lot of moments that were a long time coming tonight, and I'm super here for them. First up, Jason, I'm loving Simon's season 4 energy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that his 5 years in the Citadel have definitely changed him, and hopefully there will be time enough to sort of explore how things have altered his thinking and how he's exactly reacting. I especially loved the way that Marcia and him were weren't even directly introduced. They were just sort of present in a conversation, and that he was able to just digest that, I think, will hopefully be a great boon. Although he's been known to like blow 5-point leads like that, so
Yeah.
who knows? But as it stands, I'm just happy to be back, and I'm just happy to hang on to the bull as long as I can, because I know that there are things in play that will certainly complicate things.
Yeah,
As
man.
it stands, yeah. In terms of plugs and whatnot, if we're doing that,
Yeah, for sure, man. Have you got the link now?
Yes, we have links,
Good.
multiple links. My name is Jason Catrone, at Just Jason Please on Twitter. I write and do things and generally just sort of hang about. Most recently, and most wonderfully, I've written a game by the name of Way Down Below with the ever talented Kiana Shaw. Link in chat posted now. Solo journaling game, Descended from the Queen, wherein you play a sort of Orpheus, anyway, role of a wanderer trying to get their beloved out of Hades. You explore your psyche, your relationship, and just generally have a bad time in hell. So it's just one of those games. I would also just very quickly, and they don't know I'm doing this, but I would very quickly like to give a plug to a friend of mine, Julian Walker, an artist who is going to be moving to Las Vegas pretty soon. He's running a sale on his shop, so please, for the love of God, just follow the link in chat, because
Awesome.
Julian and his partner need all the love. They're getting out of Oklahoma. As Americans, we may be familiar, Oklahoma's not in the best shape at the minute, so they need all the help they can get. But yeah, if you want to find out where I am at any one point in time, follow me on Twitter, and please, for the love of God, chuck a follow to everybody else in this show. It's a time, and I'm glad to do it.
Thanks so much, dude. I can't wait to see more. And Tom Enzo is just like the guy. He's just magic. I love it.
I love playing him. He's just a lot of fun, you know. It's just one of those characters you can have fun with, because although he's not kind of directly there yet with all because I knew this was animosities all over the place, so not yet. Knowing Enzo, he's gonna get stuck in somewhere. Put his nose where it shouldn't belong. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, he's just a fun character to play, a carefree, youngish.
Yeah, man.
Bravosi is great. I loved all this. I was waiting for the whole Cowder keg to blow. It was great. I'm glad I was there front row seats and had refreshments with me at the time, like so much ale. So that was a lot of fun, and I can't wait until next week. I just want to keep playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Myself, I'm Hotflakes Tom on Twitter, and you can check me out on Discord too, which is on Follow Backcats, Encounter Roleplay. You can find me there. It's quite easy.
Nice. And the very occasional casual Sunday stream.
Yeah. Occasionally I do stream when I'm in the mood.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. It's my Sunday's a work day for me, so it's just to leave it on. It's good. Alrighty. Susie, this is a whole thing.
Wasn't it though? The juice. I just want to say though, I do love everybody here very much. Virginia and Don, I don't hate you at all, but Miria is very angry at Mara and Sam.
I'm here for it.
But yeah, this is a long time coming. Like with meeting Simon for the first time, I think like Miria just had no idea who he was. Like she'd never seen him before, and well, like she said, she'd been practicing what she was going to say to Mara, and just so yeah, it was just like I'm very excited to see how this all plays out though.
I can't wait until she fights Samwell, because I just see it happening. I just see it happening.
She's gonna challenge him.
Cannot wait.
Because just a chance to stab one of the fuckers that. Yeah. Anyway, so hey, I could go on for hours about this game. In fact, I do quite regularly. And if you want to hear some of my screaming, we have a Discord in which I do scream quite a lot. So hit us up on there. I'm going to see if we have a command. We should. Otherwise I'm going to fire myself. We've got a command. There we go. Join the Discord. As for me, I'm Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer. I do video games. I do art streams. I do tabletop RPGs. Find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. You'll find me on my channel tomorrow with Virginia, who is like down here somewhere.
Other way.
For Fragging Fridays, where we're playing Rainbow Six Siege together. So that will be at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. GMT. And then you can find me on... Nope, it hasn't been announced yet. Never mind. Other places later on.
TBD.
When I can say... Yeah, TBD.
You can find her at TBD.
Yeah.
Speaking of finding her at TBD, Marcia Greenmont, a.k.a. Charlie.
Hello.
She's got a presence about her now. Like a commanding, collected.
She's been a lady for 5 years now.
It's good. I love it.
And underneath it all, she still loves everyone. But she also has seen a lot of consequences. And she's tired of always paying for everything. So
yeah.
Also, she wants us to be a really good party, and she's not going to have these boys squabbling and ruining her fun because she hasn't had a good party ever. Just one night, fam, and then you can all kick off at the tournament, all right? I just want one night where the world isn't burning, please. But yeah, I had super fun. Sam was screaming at me in our green room chat, like, Charlie, do you want in on this? And I was watching Mara and Miria having their moment, and I was like, no. Plus, I felt I really liked the two sisters having their moment, their head-on moment. Yeah. They can stand on their own. Miria did not need backup. Mara needed space to say what she needed to say. And it was really fun that we essentially had a scene with all of us all of us were present. And we all kind of took turns to tell different parts of that scene. And it was super great to see so many new people coming to catch us here in chat tonight. Thank you so much to Anna, who was clipping and clapping. And I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And anyone else who is new, welcome. Please check out the wiki, check out the YouTube.
Yeah, please do. We've had a slew of followers. And yeah, thank you so much.
This is the Thursday fam, and this is the drama that we go through every Thursday.
These are the juicy fruits, mate. Every Thursday.
Yeah, so please join us. It's very nice to be back. It's a very intense game. But, you know, there's something nice about it being intense but not real. There is.
Cathartic. That's why we come back. I really enjoy it. And V, that was some real shit.
Oh boy, I have been waiting since season 1 to have a scene with Susie. We have never had a scene together.
Yeah.
And that was everything I hoped it would be. Yeah, Mara's done a lot of thinking in 5 years. She's for anyone who's read my little fic that I put up in the Discord, if you haven't, you should go and have a look. Marcia actually referenced the trip to the Arbor. So if you've read it, you know who that fic is talking about and who she's with. But yeah, rumors flying around, which she's come back. I think she's kind of done the opposite of like Marcia, where Marcia has kind of gained this power and this presence and composure. Mara's started to lose a little bit of care for it. And perhaps for Alistair, since we now know she hasn't actually visited him or told him about the loss of their baby.
Yeah.
In 5 years. She's just opted to just not.
You know, that's what I love about this game and you guys. It's the little details about mentioning the Arbor and talking about that downtime event. Like, it's that kind of stuff. I love it. Absolutely.
Me and Don planned out a lot of details to do with the year of traveling that happened, which we lovingly refer to as spring break.
Spring break. Yeah.
I feel like if nothing else, it gave away that Marcia has been keeping an eye on Mara Oakhart.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Mara would expect anything less to some degree. She knows that Marcia isn't an idiot. Like, she knows that Marcia is smart enough to keep an eye on people that could be allies or enemies or have crossed her. So she's not surprised that Marcia brings it up. But I also think that she, to some degree, hasn't really taken on the weight of the words of, maybe keep your distance. She's like, we're friends. I don't know what you're talking about. What is this problem? I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. I never had to before. I didn't before this. I certainly don't. Like, now everyone's just talking rumors.
Got to leave space for the 7.
I believe in the old gods here, Sam.
Leave that 6-inch rule. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully next week to have a proper conversation with Samwell and see where that goes after that blowing up. Because he walks in and there's Miria death staring, and Mara's like, not now. Now is not the time to talk about the tourney.
It was beautiful, and Don, I think he's got the most lovely, like, naive quality about him at some level. And then he just, like, the layers started coming off, and I was like, that's really awesome. That was lovely to see from the off. This is why I say, like, we're back, fam. Like, we arrived.
Oh yeah, the juicy fruits are here. But if we're doing plugs, I'm Virginia. You can find me on Twitter at Tabletop Horde and Twitch as well. Like Susie said, I'm going to be there tomorrow with her over on my channel. We have a whole multi-stream thing set up too. Playing some Fragging Friday, some Rainbow Six Siege, where undoubtedly we're probably going to scream a little bit about After the Fire. So if you want to get in on other juicy fruits with that, come and join us, because we're probably going to be talking about it a lot. Otherwise, you can catch me every other Monday on Twitch with streams voted for by my followers, and every Wednesday doing The Witcher, where you get to see me talk a lot to Roach. So if you like,
it's the only way.
If you want to hear me rambling at horses about them either being scaredy horses or adorable, that's where to be. 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern. All of my streams at the same time.
That's fair. Yeah, Don, absolutely loved Samwell's whole thing today. How was it coming in?
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed getting to step into a new character. This is the 3rd character I've played now in this campaign. And I wanted to do something that was different in some ways than what I've done before, like with Sir Oliver and with No Name.
Yeah,
they were really zealous characters. They had very, very cemented ideas about the world, what the world is, what it should be, what's right, what's wrong, what the rules are. So in that way, they were very directed. And I think I'm looking forward to playing a character who's still sort of figuring out what the world is and what it means to him and what his place is in it. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and to get to I was really happy we got to interact with like almost everybody today. There's at least a little bit of interaction with everybody, and so that's like my favorite thing. But getting to, because like the person that got killed by my current character, or at least the group that he was with, was my old character that I loved. So I love also like flipping to the other side and kind of looking at things from a different perspective. So I'm really excited about that.
I haven't even thought of that. I haven't even thought of that. Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I love a tourney. I'm here for a tourney. Every episode could be a new tourney. And the drama that's wrapped around it, I would be okay with that. And I loved seeing all the differences in everybody's character, because they were sometimes subtle and sometimes less subtle, but always very real and grounded. It was really cool to see. I'm happy to be back. Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Like, we are going to be here with this 20 for a while. It's big one, so
awesome.
Yeah, it's good few episodes in until we finish it off. Yeah. What have you got coming up, and where can we find it?
Oh, right. Yeah, plugs. So if you follow me on Twitter, that's the best place to find out all the different things that I'm doing, because I do all kinds of things. I run private games. I write, I stream, I produce for streams, and I've got a lot of things coming up. I'm sort of like, I just finished moving, so I'm now like re-gearing up for the second half of the year. I guess the thing that I could talk about right now that's maybe most prevalent is I worked on, it was lead writer for the upcoming book that's attached to Dark Matter, their starter kit. It's this beautiful box that Mage Hand Press has done for Dark Matter, which is D&D 5th edition in space. They did a great job on the original book. And so we're adding all these supplements to it, these new adventures, these new rules, these stripped down, like make it easier for people to get into who've never played it before. And I've gotten to see the art. I worked on it with Charlie. Charlie was involved with the sort of mega adventure that we put together, and seeing it come together, they're really going all out. So I'm really excited about their Kickstarter that's launching at the end of the month. And I think that's my pin tweet right now. So if you go to my Twitter, you can check that out. There's like a demo. There's a free demo you can check out. So
nice, cool. Definitely check that out. I'll give it a look as well.
Can I quickly add on to that, because I was involved and I forgot to say anything about anything I'm doing. But the adventure is really cool. It's space and it's fun, but it's also a little bit like noir-y.
Nice.
There's a bit of a mystery, gumshoey kind of angle to it that is super fun. And we had a really cool team on that. It was myself, Dawn, Mackenzie, and Simon, the Wandering DM. And it was super cool to write as like a foursome. We had our own separate bits, and then it was all edited and brought together. And yeah, it's really fun.
Nice. Cool.
Noir plus space plus like a ton of explosions, like way more explosions than you really need. But maybe you do need that many explosions.
Mate, I am in.
Speaking of explosions, how's that palm flamethrower going?
Going good. It's going to be illustrated too. I literally just passed that commission on to somebody. Yeah. Why did you pick the palm flamethrower?
That was like one of the last things I saw you talking about in private chat, because I know you've been working really hard, and I just happened to pick palm flame, and I'm like visioning it like a power,
like a Spider-Man but fire, right?
Yes. Yeah. Can I get one for Marzia?
I mean, you pray to the old gods. Dragon? You never know what you might get. Yeah, it might be more mixed up in the Targaryens than the dragons for sure, but yeah. I mean, it links up in chat. Check out the spy game quick start. So it's 5e as well, and it's modern day action and espionage RPG. Quick start's free, and it represents what we did just before the beta was finished up with the Kickstarter campaign, and now we're in the midst of or wrapping up the editing on it as well. So we'll have a finished manuscript quite soon, hopefully. And then we should get some previews out to backers in the coming months, and then fulfill pretty soon. All very exciting stuff. If you want to learn more about that and you had no idea about it, check out the links in chat and in the YouTube as well, or just check out follow Black Cats on Twitter. There's some links in there too, or blackcatsgaming.com on the interwebs generally. You can find me around the internet at RPG Webby, pretty much anywhere on the Twitters, occasionally on the Reddits, but I tend to lurk. And yeah, we can join us every Thursday. Why did I say Friday? You can join us here every Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time. That is still currently 3 p.m. Eastern, for After the Fire, our full of juicy fruits drama that is 100 years or so before Game of Thrones books, set in Westeros just after a big old rebellion. It's all brewing. You don't even know the half of it yet. It's going to be good. All right, let's raid somebody. Who we got? JP's playing Persona 5. WebDM. Looks like they've just gone live. There's only 6 in there. So let's chuck it over to them.
That might be that Symborum game that Pruitt runs, or it could be another project they're up to. But WebDM actually tweeted some really great advice today for players, which is, if there's a problem, talk about it. Don't wait for someone else to talk about it. Be kind, be considerate, and share it with your family, because that's what you are. You're a team.
Yeah.
When you play a game.
And that is 100% what we do.
Yes, and on that topic, it seems to be some prep work that they're doing over on WebDM for Dracula's dossier.
Yeah. So, yeah. Looking forward to that. So let's check out a little sneaky peek. There we go. The raid starts very soon. Thank you again, friends, for joining us this week. We are back every Thursday for season 4 and onwards of what is a new story arc for After the Fire. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much indeed for sticking with us. We'll see you soon. Take care.